Good evening, and we call the Ware Park and Rec Commission July 6, 2021 meeting to order at 7:03 p.m. Would we all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll start with introductions. I'm Janine Lynch, Chairman. To my left, we have Lisa, Director. To my right, we have Denise, Member. Beyond her, Dave, Vice Chair. Off camera, we have John Van. And joining us shortly will be Pam, Member. All right. Does anyone have any amendments to the agenda?
I do.
Besides me, okay.
We have cheerleading that is looking for, just confirmation, for use of the gazebo field area, August 16th through the 27th. And it's just confirmation. We think we did discuss it back in March, but they were kind of back and forth on where they wanted to be
Okay.
at that point.
Is that the only thing you need to add?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh wait, I should probably talk about the water level at the lake too, but we'll get there.
I can add that in. So what I had to add for Chase Park was, we got an email tonight about a dead tree. And then, the picture that Kristen sent, I think it was just to you and me about the exposed metal on that Red Cross
Yes.
strips. And then I added in the water level. Any other amendments to the agenda?
No, and the water's up,
Yes, it is.
like 3 inches up.
Well, we've had 6 inches of
3 or
rain.
4, yeah. I think it was 4 last I knew.
Okay. Public comment, we had Mike Provencher down for gopher damage, but he's not here, so I don't know if somebody wants to talk on his
Golfer
behalf.
damage.
Golfer? I thought it's a gopher.
No, golfer.
Let me guess, Barrington Field?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, so he had sent an email. Do we want to see if he's coming or?
I don't remember who told me that he needed to be added in, and I don't know if they contacted about when the meeting was. I mean, this
It was
is like,
me.
okay,
And I
so-
thought that maybe he had contacted you about
No.
coming.
I knew nothing except your one contact.
Okay, so he, and I actually should have gone over to look at it and I haven't.
Okay.
But it is, Purington Field's been consistently for a very long time used for like just hitting, putting and hitting, chipping, yeah. Mike had asked.
Out in the outfield specifically.
That's where the grass is, right?
Well, when I've been there, they've been
Usually center field.
in the in the outfield of the baseball. Yeah. Sorry, when you said outfield, I was thinking over there. Yeah. So anyway, he said that there's divots, and I have no doubt that there are probably divots. I think that he wanted to put a sign up saying not to use it. I have concerns about that.
Like you're saying no golfing at the field is what you're, like, is that what he means by sign?
Yeah.
Or replace your divots.
Or yeah, I mean, I think that
I mean,
I think that
it's
that's
a
fair.
public.
Restrict people from using it, just common courtesy, if you're gonna use it, and I don't even think we need to put a sign up, we don't need to waste the money. Put it up on the Facebook page, if you're gonna be using any of our fields
and I don't want to say anything about not using it, as I'm afraid they'll go to the other fields, and Purington
Or
is.
they'll use it more. I mean, you know, let's be honest, right? So,
Yeah.
and we don't, well, I mean, they're the fields for everybody and for every
Yeah.
sport. We don't
Yeah.
want to restrict.
kindly fill in your divots, please.
Yeah,
Do you like that, the Facebook post
Yeah.
idea? Does that sound good?
yeah.
We probably could, address it to a couple, just kidding.
And if we see anybody there and they're not, then maybe we could just, as a group, remember, because I have seen people, frequently in the fall when I'm there lining the fields, there are golfers there. It's,
Well, I think it's just something you just gotta mention, hey guys, can you fill in your divots when you're done?
yeah,
Or go further out so you're almost at the edge of the field hitting backwards so that, go up against the fence and that way, okay.
I think they're hitting them into the woods instead of the roadway though.
Replace your divots is, you know what I mean? It's fine. Too much and then they're like not
I don't
listening
wanna do
anymore.
signs. We can sign, everything to death, and it's just noise,
Right.
noise after a certain.
You don't read it all, right? No, I think that's a
Chase
fine.
Park is a good example.
Yep.
Yes, it is. Okay. All right, so, I don't know if you wanna post something on there?
Yep, I can try to. I unfortunately
Well, I don't mean
have-
this minute.
Yeah, I was just looking to see if I had any, service here, and I
Okay.
still don't.
All right, is that good, or any more,
I don't, but I'll put on my hotspot for you.
Thank you.
any more, comments or concerns about the golf damage at Parrington? Okay. All right, so, next.
How's it look, how's Purrington even looking? Is it
I-
John's
staying, is
probably
it
been there
better?
more often than anybody
I
else.
haven't actually walked out into it. I did notice when I drove by today that there was dirt missing from the piles.
Like the
Somebody's-
parking lot piles?
Yeah, like the piles that
Yeah.
just that continually grow.
Right.
Somebody's taken some. Hopefully they're filling
Well,
divots maybe?
Well, they may be filling back in the field,
Now
because I
that-
know that
Now the
that
baseball's
insi-
over, maybe?
the infield, I know, loses lots of dirt. They may have taken it to put it down at Bolton. It is,
No, this is a very small, like kid building a sandcastle, like that quantity. Yeah, it's,
I mean, unfortunately, it just keeps mounding up, so it's almost to a point where let them use it, because it's just gonna,
Thank you, John.
but it's, I know last year we had a problem when we came into soccer season, so we wanna make sure that it's good to go for soccer.
Okay, all right.
I mean, granted, we got a lot of rain this past weekend, which hopefully helped out a lot.
Hi, Pam.
All right, so if everybody's good with that, we just covered, the golfing damage at Purrington. So we're just gonna do a PSA, on the Facebook page asking that divots be replaced. Have you done concession work there recently? Okay, so we were just kinda wondering how the field was doing, if you'd been down there, okay.
I saw
Okay.
some teenage boys down there doing, looked like baseball, batting practice
That's nice,
today.
hot day for it.
So they were doing everything properly, using the cage. I didn't see any issues when I drove by. It was 4-ish o'clock.
That's good. That's good. All right, so next up is the tennis courts, and Denise sent a lovely email, and, so I'll let her go over everything. I put her pictures that she sent, on my laptop if anybody didn't see them, and I can
I have them up.
show them, okay. 'Cause she's got a couple questions for us. Do you wanna?
Yeah, so, I've been back and forth with Vermont Recreational. Originally, they had told us like end of July. They're a month behind at least, so now it's probably gonna be the end of August. They're having paint supply issues. The manufacturers can't get the buckets to put the paint in to ship it, so it's caused them to be a little bit behind.
Okay.
So they haven't given me a date, but they said now they're looking at August barring paint issues and weather, so at least I got that much out of them. We have to make decisions on the color of the main surface, the tennis lines and the pickleball lines. And they had sent sample paint colors for both the lines in the courts, and I had polled some of the people who play tennis. We have a couple who plays tennis every Tuesday and Thursday that also play pickleball. So it's really good, because I think they're the most consistent users of the tennis courts. But as anything, when you ask a question, there's 10 different opinions. So I reached out to the vendor and I said, can you tell me what you are seeing professionally with the work that you do? So basically, they came back and said, when it's tennis courts with pickleball courts on them, they're mainly seeing the main courts be green, which is what they are today, and the tennis players like the green. So I have no issues with the green. They just need to hear from us. And then they recommended the tennis lines be white, which they are now, and the tennis players like that also. Then we had, I looked at 3 different courts with pickleball lines, red, blue, and yellow. And opinions were all over the place. But Vermont Rec, we're seeing, usually pickleball is yellow. And so there's a good contrast
Colored
between,
tape did you guys buy when you put your
Bright
tape down?
orange.
Bright orange.
and I don't
How
think
did
that-
the orange do with the players for pickleball? Was it good for you guys?
it was, orange isn't an option, I don't think orange,
But orange and yellow are both kind of equally bright.
yeah. The brightness was good, the tennis players didn't like it because the tape was slippery.
Right.
Right.
So now with the paint, it will be different. The tennis players were fine with the yellow. At first, people were concerned because pickleballs are yellow,
The ball.
the ball. But the red with the shadows up there are gonna be hard to see. And, the blue would be okay. So I think it was like a 50-50, between the blue and the yellow. Vermont Tech is saying yellow, and I have some pictures, and I think
Yep.
you do too. If anybody wanted to look at them, from, when you're standing from a distance,
Yellow looks nice.
yellow kind of stands out pretty well.
Yep.
I like
I
that.
don't know if you can see it.
I can
Sean.
see it.
I would do the yellow.
I would too.
The blue may just blend in,
Yeah.
Warner has blue, and actually, when you take a picture of it, the white of the tennis and the blue, they blend so much, it's hard to see,
Yeah, this one you can just kind of see
barely see.
on the green there.
So, so what I took, Vermont Tech, I think, Vermont Rec, the sooner we get our color selections, they can order the paint, knowing what we have. So I just thought that, I assume that we'll need to just vote to say, this is what we need to tell them for colors. So I'm gonna recommend what they are recommending, which is keep the court green as it is today with the white tennis lines, and then just do the yellow pickleball
I
lines.
think that's a good idea.
It looks really nice.
Make it simple, and I think it will look fine, and I don't think it'll bother the tennis players. They seemed okay with it.
They were pretty much almost playing that way last year, like you said, except it was with the orange.
Orange,
Yeah,
yeah.
orange versus yellow,
Yeah.
which,
Yeah, so that would be my recommendation. That would be our paint color selection. We do need to, I wasn't sure if Naomi was gonna be here or not.
no, just the
She,
Zoom meeting.
she hasn't sent in the work order for the pickleball lines.
You wanna probably just talk directly to Beth.
Okay,
Beth's
okay.
gonna be right on top of that. Do you have her email?
I do.
Okay.
I talked to her, we got Vermont Rec to get all the paperwork that they needed, the
Insurance.
insurance
and
and all that, so
everything.
they
I
have
saw that,
everything,
yeah.
yep. So I'll call Beth.
Yeah,
and-
Beth's definitely,
And did we get the extra money put in for that?
So,
they raised the
I
money.
know you
for-
guys raised the money, did that go into the,
so what I
or
talked
are you
to,
guys paying that directly to,
I think what Beth, had recommended, again, I have no problem writing the check today. It's just if something were to get delayed, the money was donated for the lines.
Mhm.
So Beth recommended that the work get done, and then when the work's done,
Yeah.
then we present the check to them. So that's the way I left it.
Yeah,
with
Beth,
that.
yeah, whatever, we take Beth's
Yeah.
100%
Yeah.
on there. If Beth says that, that's
Yeah.
what,
So,
that's perfect,
because I think if they end up not doing it this year,
right.
then we'll.
Like they have the tennis paint and not the
Right.
pickleball paint or something, you know?
I think the
It just
paint's
couldn't
the
get yellow or
same, but,
something.
the sooner we get it in, that they can order it if they're back
Right.
ordered on the different
Right.
colors.
and the only thing I would say is if the yellow's is severely back ordered, go to a backup, that we have a backup color.
I asked her that question, and
Okay.
she said no, because it's really the buckets, not the paint.
Okay.
So it's not so much the colors as it is just getting the paint ordered.
Okay.
It's funny, I didn't even think about that. We have a back order of jars at work since April, and I hadn't even thought of that.
Yeah,
And they're
it-
probably very similar to the plastic buckets,
Yeah, if they
smaller.
can't get the plastic buckets, they ship the paint in,
Can we
so.
just go to like Home Depot and buy those 5-gallon buckets and send
They
They're-
probably have,
they're-
right? There's probably
They're
something
ordering
special.
their paint from some national company.
And they probably hook up with their spray hoses or some special fittings or something.
You mean if it was down the street, I'd take them 5 buckets and say fill them up. But
Right.
I don't even know where the paint company
Right.
is. For all I know,
It
it's in
sounds like they're
Millis.
getting them, just not as, like, they
As
usually
quickly.
probably have a huge stash in
Correct.
stock and every color's ready. More now they have to order it
Right.
exactly when they need it.
So if
Who's
they,
actually in contact with this, repair company?
I have been,
I
yeah.
would recommend that we email them and ask them for written confirmation that regardless of the delay, our price will not increase.
Okay,
Because typically we have contract pricing. There's usually a sunset to that because of supplier issues. I don't want them
Yeah.
to come back and say, sorry, we're gonna have to do it in the spring, but
Yeah.
now it's gonna be another
Right.
$500.
And I think they already agreed to that one time because they gave you the numbers last year.
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right, right, right.
So, right, it's, no, that's what I mean, it's a good idea. It's not like the quote was just a week ago.
Yep.
It's not, and, yeah,
Right.
so,
We do have I'll look at it, and we have a signed contract, and that's why I wanna get the other contract in for the pickleball lines,
right.
so that we can get that price
Right.
locked in also.
I mean, if everybody's fine with the green, the white, and the yellow, I don't think we need to vote. John, what do you think?
Nope, we
Dave,
don't need to vote.
sound good? Okay,
Sounds great.
okay,
All right.
perfect.
And then, so the paperwork, I'll get to Beth on that last
Okay.
document that needs to get in. And I was just wondering on the signage for the courts, if there's anything I can do to help. I do know, we've had a little bit of trash we've had to pick up, because I don't think people know it's carry-in, so they're just throwing
Yeah.
it on the courts.
I don't
Which-
see a trash
They-
can. Let's
yeah.
just,
I think, I don't think it's because of the carry and carry out, yeah, I do have some information on the sign, so I can have it as early as next week. It's gonna be about $100. I just wanted to look through the notes about the line, so she said to try to keep the rules minimized. And the reason we go with the more expensive $100 sign is the other one that's not made out of the metal material, she said might last a couple seasons and then.
oh yeah, you want it metal.
Yeah, we need the metal.
Absolutely.
And she's gonna do a full vinyl on it so that we don't have the trouble we've been having at Chase Park where people are pulling off letters.
You're gonna get a proof of this before they print it, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you're gonna make sure it's spell checked? No regrets?
No phone
regrets.
numbers for something that doesn't exist, like at
Yes.
Chase Park.
Yeah.
I thought we had notes. I mean,
Yeah,
do
you've
you need feedback on your last minute
Um,
things, or this is
no.
what we had was
Yeah, you've got, I can just grab I'll grab those from
keep
you.
the gate shut at all times, enjoy your game, respect all players. And then it was like no skateboards, bikes, rollerblades.
Yeah, and no, I think we said tennis shoes or sneakers only.
Court
no,
shoes. I
Court
think
shoes, court shoes is what
would
we
be,
said, yeah, court shoes.
Shoes, sneakers / court shoes, yeah.
Yeah.
Proper shoes.
Yep.
No alcohol glass, no smoking.
Yep.
No pets.
You should say no smoking, no vaping.
No smoking and vaping and no pets.
Use at your own risk, and they're monitored. Contact Park and Rec.
Yeah,
all-
especially once it's all been
Carry, carry.
redone, we definitely wanna make sure
Guess you could
that
have
there's
carry
no
and carry out.
skateboarding, no rollerblading, no,
How
cause,
are they contacting Park and Rec? Email?
I think so,
Yeah.
because otherwise, the only phone
Yeah.
number, otherwise, I mean, you could, technically, we could give the town office phone number and they could do messages,
there's-
but I think email is probably the best.
Yeah.
or you,
And
or
if
you'd
there's
have to give them,
vandalism of-
or you'd have to give them Chase Park's number, they'd go to a voicemail
that
and
doesn't-
then.
And that
We don't
wouldn't
check
help for
that.
the winter, so, or, well, not that somebody's there in the winter, but yeah, so park at
today-
where
I think today,
.nh.gov.
everybody's so computer.
Email's
Or
probably the
Ware
best.
Police
So-
Department, put the Ware Police
Yeah.
Department phone number, if.
Non-emergency number, yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's,
fine.
you know, people can Google.
529-7755.
Option 2.
Option.
Actually, they'll probably change that, so just leave it.
Yeah, no option. All right, so you're good with that? Do we need to vote for the $100?
No, I don't think we need to
I
vote.
thought we already voted for the sign.
We already voted for the sign.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab your.
Also, I forgot to mention too,
It's just the right margin.
when they start the work on the courts, the nets, tennis nets will have to come
Yep.
down.
Okay,
Will they take them
That's
down?
what we have Ryan for.
I think we
We-
will.
we have to
I don't-
store them, because it's probably gonna need time to dry, right? Is there
Yeah,
downtime?
It's a 1 week downtime.
1 week, so we'll have to store the nets.
Okay.
So
Will
we'll
they be able to give us enough notice to do that, or are they just gonna show up and say, hey?
No,
That would be bad.
They-
You're right.
I'm literally reaching out to them like weekly, just to, where are we at, where are we at?
So they'll contact you with a heads
Yeah,
up.
and I've told them that we, that I schedule pickleball a month at a time, so
Mhm.
I need to put a notice out that we're shutting it down, that we need to get the nets down.
They are
So
putting new posts up, correct?
I don't think,
No.
no, it's
No.
not a post,
No.
no.
It's just the surface only.
Because this isn't the new, they're not redoing the court, they're
Denise,
just
I-
fixing the
I have a
crap.
question. When was the last time you were at the tennis courts?
Yesterday,
So there's no sign up there right now?
no,
Because I had requested that one of our other park signs be put up there.
I don't think so. If
Okay.
there is, I was totally oblivious to it.
It's
but
very large. You would have noticed it.
I didn't see it.
It's already, yeah, okay. That's good for me to know.
No, it's just resurfacing, not
Okay.
taking the posts out. And
Okay.
So I am gonna assume there'll be some still,
Yeah.
the
It's-
posts are, eventually the whole courts need to be taken away and
Right.
redone, but this
Yeah.
at least buys the cracks from
Yeah.
going.
Buying
Getting
us time.
worse.
But I reach out to them about every 2 weeks, and I have let them know that we do need notice. I will be probably calling them again in the beginning of August, just to say, are you still on track for the end of August? So I don't think they're gonna just show up. They're probably sick
It
of
wouldn't be
hearing
in their
from me.
best interest
Yeah.
if they did.
But they knew that I have that I have to alter the schedule, so, I assume they know to call, but I will make sure they do. And then, I had also sent some pictures, again, the courts, if we have any rain, if we have any wind, that one section of the courts is a mess.
With the tree debris that falls down.
Debris, and
Yeah.
those, there's a couple of trees that are really nice and are fine. I tried to take pictures of the branches, there are dead branches. There's even a broken branch hanging within the branches that a gust of
So that's the
wind,
debris picture.
and it's gonna come down.
It's hard to see from there, probably. And then that's when it's clean, but and that's the trees. So I know Naomi was at the last Zoom meeting that we asked her, and she was gonna contact the abutter, and, I didn't remember to remind her, but I sent her an email tonight, so
Okay.
2 or
yeah.
3 days, we'll probably hear with a reminder
I
about.
mean, it buys
the
us a
abutter.
little time, being
If
that
she's
it's
in the
August.
office, she'll probably remember to
Yeah.
contact him, but at night during a Zoom meeting,
Yeah.
she, it's
I
different.
can mention
so.
it to Beth too but anyways, I'm gonna keep putting it out there because it will have an impact on the new surface
Yep.
if we're
Yeah.
not careful.
Mhm.
Not to mention if you don't sweep it off, it's dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
'cause
yeah,
it makes
it's a
it
tripping
slippery,
hazard.
so, and then the last one was, I just wanted to let you know, we did host the summer reading program on the 26th.
How'd that go?
I got called out of town unexpectedly, but 4 or 5 members of the, club did go up, and it went very well.
Good.
They had
Some people
a
come.
handful of kids and their parents, and they let the kids play, and they
That's
seemed to have a
awesome.
good time, so I think that was good that, I think the librarian, Clay, was happy with the outcome.
He was talking, I'd gone to the kickoff, and he was talking about it. He sounded like he was,
They've been very
Excited about it.
supportive too, because they've basically said, come in and use the restrooms. If you
Oh,
get
that's
really hot,
nice.
come in and
Oh,
cool
nice.
off. And
oh, that's
so,
nice.
yeah, they bought 4 pickleball paddles. If people want to come in the library and borrow them.
Oh.
So, yeah, so he's
Oh,
been
yeah,
very
people show up and
supportive.
they don't have any. That's
Yeah,
wonderful.
So he's been very supportive.
Okay, anybody else, anything with the tennis courts?
Nope.
Okay, skate park, no new business unless somebody has anything?
The new fence looks good.
Yep.
Good, good.
It does.
That's nice to hear. I did go and see it after and take pictures, so I'm glad other people have seen it.
We have
Um,
spoken during the off-season about spending a little bit of money on getting pieces for that. Where we at with that?
So I'm still looking forward to doing that, optimistically hoping, because I think it would be, outside activities would be a wonderful line item. So I had reached out originally to Narbear, and I hadn't continued to reach out because I wanted to make sure there was enough budget for all the important maintenance pieces. But, so that's on me to reach out again, but I've definitely not forgotten. That's definitely something.
There's something, do we wanna try to do something for this year, or are we thinking next year?
So if I take the first step and just reach out and see how busy they are and see if it's even plausible, because honestly, you can get one feature for, a few $100s, so.
And if we have the money, then it would be a good thing to spend.
Right, and in the outside activities, we definitely have it in that line item, so, if we don't spend it by the end of the year, it's gone.
Yeah,
We don't
so-
get the option to hold it or reserve it or save it for later,
Yeah,
so.
so it'd be good to spend it if we can.
But
Um,
we've
But
got
I
a lot
also-
of repairs still, because,
we're plugging right along.
yeah, but we're over already on repairs.
Yeah, you're almost, by almost.
Almost half. We're $2,700 in repairs right now.
Which is gonna have to come out of another line.
So it's $800 over is what you're saying, $746 over.
Yep.
Okay, so. take
Is that including the recent work that just had to be done at Chase Park for
She
the
doesn't,
plumbing?
it just says, you know what I mean? It just
Yeah.
says repairs, so I don't have a breakdown.
It depends on when those bills get.
Yeah, I don't know that we've gotten that bill yet.
Can you move money from one line to
Yes.
another?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can.
And
Let's see.
that's also default year, so whatever, this is all we get.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But,
Did we ever get the buoys?
yeah, I paid
Yeah.
for him last year.
Yep.
He picked them up,
Okay.
Yeah,
stored
they
them in
look,
his garage.
they look great.
Yeah,
And
there's, I
We
think we only
voluntold-
put 3 of them, I think we put 3 of them out, so I think we have 2 spares.
We voluntold Ryan to install them.
What are they?
Yeah, Ryan did a
My
great job.
husband.
No, what are they?
Buoys, so they,
Oh, oh.
No,
so
they're
they,
no wake buoys.
Yeah.
They're
sit
like
on the
this
swim
tall.
line.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Above the ground, off the
I
ground,
think
they're
they're
about
really
5.
helpful, to be
they're-
honest, because there's been a lot of traffic on the lake.
It was really awesome, because we were afraid we were going to have to order them from Amazon. They didn't have them, and shipping was $100 each, and then
Turns out.
the
that-
company was in Tilton.
Oh,
So
nice.
Dave drove
Nice.
up and put them in his truck. They made them just for us. It was great.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we
Well, he
saved-
has, I mean, the place up there is huge. I mean, they've got,
And they're national. They have places everywhere. That's like one of their buildings.
yeah. I mean, they had a whole bunch and, so.
All right, so I'll reach out to them and at least get contact and see if they're even able to, you know, do something this year. Right. All right, for a feature for the skate park.
Okay, skate park feature.
All right. So unless anybody has anything else on skate park, we'll move on to, field usage. Adult pickup soccer had just kind of reached out. They didn't do a field usage form, just kind of inquiring, you know, is Bolton promised to anybody? And nope, it wasn't, so they, I mean, they know if it's taken, but I haven't heard anything, so I'm assuming it's going well and that they're getting together.
This is in town?
Yeah, oh, yes, it's an adult group of people in Ware.
And they're using which field are they using at Bolton?
Soccer, they're just doing adult pickup soccer one night a week, just for an hour or two.
I think the Bolton field is in better condition than Iison is.
And it's,
And how is speaking of, because obviously you see the football usage, how does that look after lacrosse? I haven't been
There
down.
was,
I haven't been down there, and I know that they said they were gonna reseed if they needed to.
I think that they are going to have to reseed, but from what I saw, it looked like there was just a couple little spots where the nets were, but nothing horrible.
Okay.
Looked
So
pretty
we
good.
wanna get with
And they were
them.
great last year. They just took care of it without a problem.
Right, I mean, I think we gotta get it done now, cause it's July,
They may have already done it.
football's already, you know, is 2 months away, is less than 2 months away before they're even
Yeah.
playing down there.
I can check with them and see.
And I don't know if, because they're not practicing on that field. I think they're still using the John Stark practice field, correct?
Yeah.
so in the football field usage application, which she had filed it in March, she was just more following up to make sure, because it was getting closer. She has written football practice and games, Bolton Field, August to November, Saturday, Sunday games, all day, and then weekday practices in the afternoon. So they were leaving it open to, it's Jennifer Rocket. They were leaving it open to, you know, the option if they needed to practice there, just in case. So that's what she has.
Yeah, that's.
And I think we'd already approved it in March, so I think it
Yep.
was just a matter of making sure we were
Yep.
on course, so do
And
you,
I assume that they have the concession stand part of that as well for football, because they have their own separate from WAC concession stand.
They had filled everything out.
yeah,
I'd assume they have filled that part of it out too.
Mm-hmm.
We have field usage for fields, and then we have field usage for the concession
Oh, okay.
stands. So they gotta get approval for
Both.
both.
Good to know, thank you.
Do you wanna reply to her, or do you want me to do
Hold
that?
on, which one, where's the
Jennifer
email?
Rocket.
Hang on.
Because I know they practice sometimes at night, so if they're gonna be practicing
Oh, yeah, I
down
was
there at
sending- I
night,
sent Rick a
are they
message.
gonna be putting in light,
Okay.
are they putting in their own light pieces in there?
They have
They have lighting.
They have lights
so-
behind the concession stand that they have that they put over there.
Okay.
They have all their lights.
Hold on, it's
I
very,
know that they at one point,
nothing against
rented
the,
them.
Wi-Fi that I'm using, but it's slow.
Yeah, it's not fun, that only has 2 bars, what do you expect?
Yeah, I'm not even bothering to open up my emails.
It's
I
actually
I screenshotted everything and just saved it so I could just open up the picture
Yeah,
of
and
it.
I'm not able to find her email. What is it titled?
Oh, I don't know, I just searched for football. I'm not on the email, I just saved the field usage form.
Hang on, I hope I think I got it. Here
Hmm.
it is,
It's Jennifer Rocket.
6:14.
Yeah, it was right after our last meeting. I
Okay,
think.
so we're just gonna let her know that she's all set.
Yep, everything looks fine. And then you said cheerleading?
Server unreachable.
Okay. Do you wanna do it later, or you want me to do it later?
I need to make sure I can get online. I need to talk to Naomi about this, cause it's really a problem when I can't get on. About internet at
All right. So cheerleading, you said that,
Yep, so they're looking for, it was from earlier, they had sent something, I think we talked about it in March, but they were back and forth about using the gazebo field, which by the way is being used quite a bit lately. I don't know if anybody noticed.
a
but there's-
martial arts practicing going on.
Yep, it's down there.
I didn't even know they hadn't filled out a form
There's
or
no
anything, but
form.
I've been doing
They
that,
have
they've been doing
not
that for a long time.
filled out a form that I'm aware of.
I don't know who's even doing it.
It is Mr. Cowie.
Okay.
So, just as long as he's aware, well, I mean, he'll be aware if somebody needs it, that they've already filled, cause we're gonna have a form that'll be filled out.
Were you gonna contact him?
I
No.
don't think there's any need to.
Okay.
I mean, if somebody, cheerleading will have filled out the form, right?
Say who?
Cheerleading's filled out a form,
Right,
so they would have
Whoever
precedence.
fills out the form has priority.
right. Well, I'm just wondering if we know they're using it, I mean. they
I
have to
don't know what
prove
his
insurance.
schedule is, I just know that they're down there a lot.
I meant, do we allow them to keep using it without a form? I mean, if they're holding,
I think anybody can go down there without a form and use it.
right, right.
But-
I always fall back to it's a business, they're charging money, there's an insurance
I agree with
issue
you,
with it.
but I
That's
don't-
my point.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I don't know what to do about that. That would be, if you want me to do something, I can do something about it.
I'd just leave it.
I was just questioning how people
Yeah.
felt. Okay,
I would just say, look, understand that, if it push comes to shove, we'd be like, look, you need to, I would casually mention, you need to fill out a field usage form because this field is now being requested for cheerleaders come whatever, and it's the,
I wouldn't even,
No.
I wouldn't even do that, wouldn't even bring
Just
it up.
leave it.
When the field starts being used by
people
the
that
who
requested it,
approved to use it, he'll figure it out or he'll come to the board.
yeah, if cheerleading has an issue and they come to us, then we'll,
I think
Address
it's
it.
just important maybe to make, like for cheerleading, to say, we have given you priority to the
Mhm.
field. If you show up there
We
and
can
there's
let them know.
somebody else there,
yeah,
know that you have
priority.
priority and you would have to ask them to leave,
Absolutely.
so that the other
Or
group
move
didn't,
somewhere else.
yeah.
Just like football does to whack at Bolton on the football field. They show up and ask whack to leave before with the previous leadership.
Yeah,
Okay,
but that's not when when WAC has a form filled out, right? Oh,
but
well,
they're not,
this is a
but
little
they're
bit
not,
different.
but they're not doing it now, though.
Right,
Okay.
Yeah, no,
previously.
Right,
But
so,
yeah,
so
they-
WAC would have been in the right if they had the field usage form for that
Yeah.
time, right, right. All right, so you'll reach out to cheerleading and let them know?
yes, I have.
Okay. All right, does anybody have anything else, field
Nope.
usage? Okay, next, Bolton Park. So I went through with the, Mike's Custom Canvas and ordered the one single sunshade,
Thank you.
in the blue that he recommended best for shade and UV, which I believe he said was the darker color. And Beth said that they were already in our approved vendor list, and she's already paid him, and he said he'd have it, I think, the end of July. So we'll have all of August and all of September, so it'll get a couple months' use.
And you're gonna put that in outside services, correct?
I'm sure I told her that when I emailed Beth a couple weeks ago. I don't remember exactly.
I mean, that line, we've got money in that line, so that's.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what I told her, I just don't remember.
Okay.
She's already paid for it, so I would have assumed that it was already taken out, so I don't know, I don't see anything removed from outside
Did she pay
services.
for it, or did she just allocate the money?
She
Oh,
allocated.
he
Oh, no,
gave
she-
me a paid invoice.
Oh, good.
Mike gave me a paid invoice, so it's paid for,
That's awesome.
What was that dollar value?
$750. So it's the, shipping was the only other thing, so that would be due
So
upon.
if it was $750, it wasn't outside services.
That's there's nothing removed from outside services, correct?
$415.
Outside services, okay.
Yeah, I can go pick it up. If he's gonna charge us to ship it, I'll go pick it
No,
up.
shipping the material to him,
Oh.
not shipping to us.
Okay.
Cause he has to order the material and he has to order the,
Metal hardware.
right. And he doesn't know how much that's gonna cost.
Was it an even
Well,
seven
if he
fifty?
doesn't
Yeah.
know how much it's gonna cost, how do we get charged for it already?
We only paid for the,
We had paid for shipping up to a certain, we had approved shipping up to a certain point.
correct, so, let me see right here, the paid invoice says, and I quote, one shade cloth with cable, new hardware, $750, and he wrote shipping to be determined. He wrote 100 to 200, which I believe was carried over from 2 shade cloths. And that the deposit check was taken, number 68849, and so this invoice reflected on, June 15th, 2021. He doesn't say what date it was paid, but he has a check number, and then he anticipates completion on, July 23rd.
I wonder if she took it out of PARC repairs.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah,
'cause
probably
we're
where it
over
is.
by like 740.
Of 750, if you pull that 750 and move it,
We can
we're
move it.
still right at the max, so.
Whoops.
We
I don't
can
know
move
if it's
it
gonna
up,
show
no
me my
problem.
emails for sent. Let's see, what did I write to Beth about canvases?
Cannot
It's
find
quite
Miranda's
possible that I did it.
email. Right, I'm just gonna send her a message. So August 16th to the 27th, Miranda's all set for cheerleading, right?
Yes, I'm assuming nobody else asked for the gazebo, you said.
All right, I was gonna email her, but I actually can't find the email.
Beth, park estimate. The board approved the purchase of one canvas.
What was the date?
I wrote, we will use the outdoor activities line for this. I
16th?
specifically,
Through the
Okay.
27th.
Isn't that when patriotic celebrations are?
August.
they're in
Oh,
August.
you're talking August, okay.
So on June 14th, I wrote to Beth that we approved it and that it will be used, the outdoor activities line for this item. So,
There's no outdoor activities line.
right,
There's an outside services, which is,
well, I think that she would probably understand that that's what I meant, outdoor.
to me, outside services is outside vendor. That's the way I read what,
Okay, I meant recreation activity and I interpreted the word outdoor activity, so that was my fault, so.
Okay.
just check with, that's a simple move from
Yeah.
one Excel cell.
And it
to
wouldn't have
the-
been outside services, cause that's only 415 spaces,
That's
so,
what-
so
yeah.
she didn't take it out of that one.
Yeah.
Yep, I'll just,
We can move it, that's fine.
It's easy enough to move, it's not a big deal. So then at that point, we have not overspent park repairs, on paper,
if that's where she took it out. But,
which is just an assumption.
right, but I mean, I wrote activities, like there wasn't, any part of repair in that, so.
No, but there's no
Unless it went under, unless you were thinking recreation
And
activities.
that's what I meant when I wrote outside activities, I meant recreation activities.
So, yeah, I'm sure she can just move it from that line.
Because I would also put that, if you've already ordered that bubble, and it looks like the bubble's been delivered, I would maybe move the bubble for that.
Yeah, the bubble's paid for and delivered and picked up.
I
Right.
will-
So I would put the bubble underneath,
That would be park maintenance, as far as I'm concerned.
Right, which I think, she's got 420 and the
I
bubble
will
is
meet with Beth
450.
this week and I will clarify those things.
yeah, or under park, or yeah,
This week or next.
or 680, or line 682.
Yeah, park
Cause I have time, that's no problem.
So do we need to have that bubble installed?
Yeah, we'll get to, yeah. We can skip to that now, or we can keep going.
Okay, keep going.
Porta potties, is this still missing at the baseball field? Are they giving you money back for that? What's happening there? We can skip to the next thing. So the next thing on the list, wood chips. I've reached out to 2 companies and heard absolutely nothing back. If anybody has any suggestions on a company that does wood chip,
Can I
there are
ask a
some
question about
things,
that?
there's some, so,
We have a chipper at the transfer station, correct?
I have no idea if the
Can we-
DPW has a chipper.
It's, you don't wanna use the chips that come out of that for playground chips.
No.
I don't
That is
think
meant
it's
for
the
shipping
same
to the
thing.
woods. It's not meant for playground chips.
Okay.
Cause there's probably poison ivy in the machine and
I don't know.
everything, I'm imagining.
I don't know, I was
But
just
it
wondering.
doesn't do it fine enough, and
Oh.
it doesn't, I don't wanna say de-splinter,
Okay,
The
the
wood
chips that
chips.
come out of it is nothing you would wanna put a child in.
okay,
The wood chips that are for the playground are rated for playgrounds,
got it.
so. Who have you reached out to?
I wasn't sure.
Utiliplay,
Mhm.
and she hasn't gotten a price back to me. She's mentioned a couple times that she hasn't gotten a price, for that, she's gotten me other prices. And the last one was, the Girl Scout troop leader, her business, I cannot remember the company that she works
This
for.
is right.
Yes,
Outdoor maintenance.
I don't, it's a unique company name. It's either someone's name or
Can we
just
ask
like a
like
word or
brownies
something.
and other places?
I'm up to any ideas, if, yes,
Brownies?
yes, please.
Who else? Who else can we ask?
Jesse's company, didn't he just put something on Facebook recently that he just did some chips? somewhere?
Jesse,
They are,
Out.
Alia.
Are they all rated for playgrounds?
We would have to specify playground rated chips.
okay.
Stockhouse, I would imagine that's something he does.
So,
We're gonna get it from there's only 1 or 2 vendors that's gonna carry it. Who's gonna be cheaper on labor?
It's Sanborn might even do it.
okay.
He doesn't have that kind of capability. He doesn't have a dump truck.
No, I mean the wood chips. He might have the chips.
I know,
Not playground rated chips. He does sawdust. He's got plenty of that.
I know, I've been in his trailer and shoveled it out myself.
Okay, I can
The
ask.
shavings. I've been,
Can
I
you
like
reach
Ed.
over- Reach over to the baseboard over there. Tell me if you feel heat.
no, it's ice cold.
Thank you.
That's on.
Oh,
So
yeah,
do
no,
you wanna
no,
call a
the
couple
furnace
places?
just kicked on. That's why I questioned.
Cause Utiliplay being a
How many-
playground person,
How
they're
many
specifically.
chips do we just need? Like, we're gonna,
They're gonna have to
like a
look
load?
at it, because, I mean, in some places, you can see the concrete
Yeah.
that the actual playground piece is
Yeah.
installed into. In some places, it's, it's just a little bit, but I don't know how to calculate how many yards they would
Yeah.
need, because it varies in thickness, and they probably don't need it everywhere, so,
You could save time, they're not gonna wanna come out for that, just get the dimensions and just tell them you need it. You need,
3 to 4, well,
this is the dimensions
You could-
of my lot, I need it 3 inches thick. Whatever's extra is extra.
yeah, I'm
Put it down by the tennis court.
gonna check.
if there's leftover, it goes to the tennis courts.
Well,
3 inches thick, and I'm trying to remember, I had all the dimensions at one point, I don't think I have it now, we dimensioned it when she was out there originally.
do you have one of the rollers that does, whatchamacallit for soccer?
I don't
Or yard
know
counter,
if you're
the-
volunteering to do something, but I'm not volunteering.
No, I'm asking Lisa if she has one of the ones that you can roll on the ground and it counts how many feet it is.
Oh,
I
measure stick.
I
Oh, okay.
used to.
Like not
I
a
don't-
roller for wood
I don't
chips.
have, I do have a very long tape measure.
I I measured it when Utiliplay was there, but she took all the dimensions and everything. I didn't save any of the dimensions. Because we had to mark everything for where all the playground stuff is far away. Porta potties missing at the baseball field?
I need to double check if that's been returned, and I meant to call
Or
them last week and I
credited,
didn't.
because you're obviously, they're not gonna change your bill unless you
No.
probably say something.
No.
Okay.
And we need to line up a new vendor for next year.
Yes, we do.
We need to tell Henniker Septic that we'll do whatever it takes to be on their list.
Yep.
If they need brownies or whoopie pies or,
I've already tried. just so
I
you're
know, but
aware.
if you try starting now,
Mhm.
maybe? I'm not sure. All right. So you're good with wood chips, you're good with porta potty?
Yeah.
Move on? No smoking signs for Bolton?
They are in my car.
That's closer. Wait,
No,
but you're
they
not
need-
installing them.
No, they need to go up. I need to give them to Naomi.
Oh, okay. I
found
thought
them.
Naomi had them.
She did have them, and then there was an issue at the lake, and now they're gonna come back here.
Okay. And that would also be carry in, carry out signs.
That's already, those signs were supposed to go up last year, and I already talked to Naomi about them again this year, and apparently, according to Denise, she didn't notice anything at the tennis courts, but I've already. I
So
was
they were
in here
supposed to
2
be put
weeks ago.
everywhere.
I don't know why they're not up. I'll check.
So that's on the DPW at
I already
this
put it on
point?
my list,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, I just didn't know where it was at.
Yeah, no, I was here.
I'll look again tomorrow, Lisa, and
It's, yeah,
I'll
it's
message you if
it's a
if I see
sign,
it, but I
like
did, yeah,
this big.
I definitely didn't see.
Yeah, and I was in here 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I left notes on them again, cause they've been here, ready to go up, but I do have more no smoking signs besides that can go up, that are in my car.
Okay. Irrigation updates?
Just keep in mind, the DPW right now, their focus is road paving, because they have a very limited time.
Yeah, they're busy. So irrigation is back up and running. Somebody from WAC, I believe, turned it off and didn't turn it back on. I
I
went
think it
and,
was because
turned
they
it-
turned on in the middle of a game.
yes,
Right.
but they should have been turned back on afterwards, and
When
they
they left.
weren't.
Yeah.
And then they were off for like 2 weeks.
And it's leaking.
It is leaking, and I have contacted Sharp Lawns, and it's on his list of things to do.
It's leaking a lot. I hope
I
it's
know
on
it
his
is.
really fast
Yeah.
list to check.
Well, yeah, he is out of town right now, but I think
Had you checked on it lately? Is my
I did.
water saving
Yep.
bucket working?
I had overflowed.
I bet it did.
But yeah,
How did WAC get access to the building to shut off the irrigation?
they have the code.
One time I
and
was
they-
there.
and I had to, when I'm there, I usually do it, but one of the coaches had to turn it off because remember our timer's gone, so we're having issues with the timer.
I opened it for Joe
So,
when he was there and
It's
then,
on the list of things that have to get fixed.
and he was
it's
to
just-
turn it off after, but that was a
It-
while ago.
I don't think it was Joe. I don't know.
Well, no,
who
that
it
was like
But-
a month ago, so it probably
Yeah,
wasn't then.
anyway, I went down, Matt and I went down at like 10 o'clock at night, and we got it going again
If there
with
is
Tim's help.
So if we gotta replace the timer, or the clock or whatever it is, let's see if we can ask them if there is such a device that you can temporarily turn off and that automatically turns back on again after 4 hours.
There is like a pause or a hold function.
That's not what happened, they turned it off, they turned
I
it
understand
off.
that, but let's get rid of the ability for them to disable the entire system. Now they have to, you have a
I
temporary.
think you'd have to
4-hour off.
replace the
Yeah.
entire, that's a
So
whole,
there's a
Well,
whole
that's broken
program.
anyway.
No, the thing that's broken is
It's
just,
just one
pa-
little
it's just
piece.
part of it, like the battery that saves the clock time.
Okay.
It's just that knows, so when you set the time to three
It's-
PM, so it knows it's 3 PM.
it's a little more, yeah, something like that.
Right, but the actual unit that actually you choose, field 1, field 2, section 3, fall, winter, spring, it's a whole big huge thing, and that's not what's broken. So they're always gonna have the option to turn it off.
So is there a way we can put a pause button somewhere and then tell them don't touch the damn
I-
panel?
I think there is a switch for hold or something. I don't
It's
remember.
run,
I think
or
once we
off,
fix the clock,
and you-
once we fix the clock, we shouldn't have a problem
we
with
shouldn't have a
the
problem, it's a clock that
sprinklers
needs
coming
to be
on in the
fixed.
middle of a game.
And
Yeah.
nobody's playing games right now anyway. So.
And remember, the system's been broken for a long time, and it was left to us this way, so we're
Behind the 8 ball.
we're way behind.
So hopefully we shouldn't need to go to that extreme, it should rectify itself.
How much does it cost to fix this clock? A battery?
That's, so, last I knew, Sharp Lawns was putting in, he had one that he was gonna put in to see if it worked.
Mhm.
I don't think that has gone in yet, because it happened right before they were going on vacation.
Okay.
so it's not just a battery. It's a new clock. I'm messaging him.
So it's timing, not money.
And then I would change the code on that shed.
Oh, yeah, that's getting changed.
Well, it's a borrowed lock
It's
right
a borrowed
now.
lock.
It's
It-
not even
yeah,
supposed to be there
The other
because it
lock
got
had been cut
cut.
off, and then I had to switch the lock, but it was necessary that they had to get in, unfortunately, and I did send everybody a message in WAC, and I said, hey, you can't just leave it
happens.
off, it
I
happened, it
mean,
was a
last
mistake.
year, we were trying our best and we had the thing going all
Yeah.
wonky. Okay,
I just don't
so,
wanna repeat of last year where everything was so
Nope,
dry.
we're
Well, that
not
was-
letting that happen. Yeah, no, I've been,
all right, so Tim knows about the leak
Yep.
and Tim's working on the clock timer.
Yep.
The missing plaque on the bench, it's been picked up, you said? The plaque for the bench has been picked up?
I don't know if it's been picked up, I know it was ordered and paid for.
Okay, I know it was,
Don't know if Miss Richmond has picked it up.
oh, she was supposed to pick it up? I told her it had been picked up.
Oh,
Is that Angelina?
Angelica
Angelica, that's
Yes.
her last name, Richmond?
Richmond.
So I had told her it was picked up,
I can contact Crown Trophy and ask.
okay, or her, either way. I didn't know, okay, that was my bad. So, we need ideas for installation of the donated plaque to the bench. It's a slate bench,
You put epoxy,
and
Mhm.
I'm,
can you just epoxy
Yeah.
it to the bench?
I'm assuming you can, but I don't know what was originally on it.
I think there's a piece there already. At least when I was down there, at least when I thought I was down there, it was the right bench, it was already there, it was just the piece that slid out of it or whatever.
There was, but then I believe that the next time I went, that piece was gone as well.
So this wasn't mechanically fastened, it was,
Nope, there's no holes or fasteners. It was some type of glue or epoxy that was, okay, let me see. Cause I think you're right, Dave. I remember there
There was,
being,
there's like a metal
Yeah.
bracket there that it
And-
slid
yeah.
into.
And then I
And I think
remember-
somebody just sat there and just kinda
Yep.
kept kicking at it until they could,
and the next time I looked at it, when I went back a couple weeks later for the tree thing, that wasn't even there. There was nothing on the bench, just, you could see the discoloration where faded versus not faded. I don't know, I think I took pictures and I can't remember if I took pictures. Oh, I got a million skate park pictures.
maybe Crown, when you talk to Crown, see if they have any recommendations for mounting it to slate.
That would be good. Because
Cause I don't wanna drill into that or anything else like that.
well, and that's the thing with slate, I don't even know if you can.
I'm sure you can if you had this, if you were,
Some stuff,
I don't
well,
wanna say trained at it, but if you had the knack for it, cause slate fractures so easy.
yes,
Yes.
that's what I was afraid of. Just looking to see if I could find it anymore, but to my knowledge, there's nothing left there. I know I took a picture of it, and I'm not finding it. 'Cause I thought the same thing in the original, like it was like an insert gone, and then the next thing I went, there was nothing. All right, so will you be able to ask Crown Trophy what they recommend for installation? Okay, thank you, Pam. Okay, so the Burke Playground replacement bubble. I had texted a group text a little while ago with the pictures of Pam finding the one that was worse than the first one. So, so when I went the first time, I walked around with Utiliplay, and to my knowledge, we looked at everything pretty well and only saw that one. Pam, a couple weeks later, saw the one that was 10 times worse. I have pictures on here if people want to see them. I mean, it's literally like the first one you could really get a good arm through. The next one you could almost get a whole baby through
The
it,
one I saw, you walk in and it was
right there.
on your left, like the second one or
Yeah,
something like
and the
that?
worst one is on the opposite side of that. So you actually be on the playground looking back at the sandbox.
Better off just removing them?
So, no, because there's a hole and they're too high off the ground. So, one of them, now that I've been paying a lot more closer attention, really looking, has a flat piece of plexiglass in it, which is a lot less expensive, I'm assuming. So we have the one bubble, it's been picked up, I put it in the Bolton shed with the tool. I plan on installing it Sunday morning, cause my son's gonna be at the Legion, so if anybody wants to come and help,
I can come
that would be great.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna drop him
problem.
off at the Legion and then go down there and install it Sunday morning. I'm gonna trace it first on the cardboard that it came in, and then, and keep the old one that I take off. And bring it to, there's a place in Londonderry called Piedmont Plastics, and they do everything you can imagine. They have a CNC, they can shape it, drill it, all this stuff.
Bring in the old bubble.
Yes, exactly. As long as it comes off in one piece, or enough of a piece. And instead of doing the outward bubble that's expensive, I don't know if anybody remembers the pictures, it's just
Yeah.
a flat clear. So it's safe, cause the wire thing had me worried about people leaning on it and loosening it
Yeah.
up. And, you would still be able to see through it, and it would still be safe, it just wouldn't be a $400 thing. I'm assuming, the way sheets of plastic come, you can
Yeah.
get 4 of these out of one piece of plastic. You have to buy the whole sheet, and you're gonna get 4. So whether we need,
What thickness are you going to get?
I would probably match what the rounded one is made out of, but I mean, honestly, 1/4 of an inch or 3/16. And I'll tell them what it's for too, and see if they have a recommendation. I'm just gonna get a price, obviously, first,
Probably Lexan would probably be the safest.
right? Cause there's some that are stronger, right? And not
Lexan's
gonna,
what they used in like race car windshields.
okay.
A child shouldn't be able to put their head through that.
Well, this one that's in here, it seems like, and it's obviously been there a while, at least, a
Yeah.
few years, cause I wasn't here when it was getting replaced. It looks great,
Well, either that, or is there like other pieces that are in a similar size that are the plastic that look like the
That's-
that, like, even if it's just the rail, like the railing or whatever, or,
Well, no, they don't do that kind of plastic, or they don't mold or shape stuff. They only do flat plastic work, if that makes sense. So they don't have,
Something flat that you can
Yeah.
see through, it'll be fine.
and get a price for the 4 of those, because obviously we have 2 broken ones right now, so this would take care of that second broken one for a fraction of the price, and then looking at the one on the top one isn't looking that, you know what I mean? So they can be saved for the future of, this is not gonna stop happening. These things, they're 20 years old, they're brittle, So, I think this is, you're not sacrificing the feature of looking out the window or the safety. So I'm hoping that that becomes, a really reasonable, affordable price. So that's my plan.
Thank you.
We'll get a price for that. They're a really nice company. We had them do something for us at work for our CNC router for a plastic thing, and it worked. They were really nice to work with and very friendly. And local, I love local, because you just pick it up.
Was this playground donated at,
Yes.
when we accept donations, like even the bench,
We
Mm-hmm.
accept complete ownership.
Yeah,
say that again?
We can accept complete ownership in perpetuity.
that's why
We get to own it
That's why
and
we
maintain it
have so
and fix
much
it.
more to donate. Every time somebody donates something, it's something else we have to
Is
take
that your
care of.
question?
Yeah, well, only that when we accept a donation, to what degree, do we discuss the long-term
know.
cost of,
It's something that's been on my mind
or
too,
being
like,
able to say, I'm just gonna use this as an example, but we'd be happy to accept the donation of the bench and the plaque, whatever.
but we need another
no-
$500 to put into a thing.
Or
so
no,
we
or
can-
just
whatever.
know that,
That's what happened with the gazebo. There was no
yeah,
money to fix the gazebo.
So it became
Yeah.
unsafe,
And it became unsafe, so they had to
Right.
tear it down and put a
and
brand
the
new one.
Historic Society.
right.
To-
So I
or
look at the
clarify.
playground, it's always going to be a liability
Mhm.
once you accept that donation, unless you say,
The town runs into this all the time.
we need money
Yeah.
to maintain it.
Yes.
Right.
Make that
Buildings
donation,
that whack.
add another,
That's exactly what I was thinking. If somebody's gonna donate a $10,000 building, well, that's great. We need you to donate another 5,000 so that we have maintenance, we have repairs that are gonna sit maybe in some sort of a fund.
Yeah,
But we
because
don't
WAC,
have that fund
because
though.
WAC
too
just
bad.
did the brand new shed
at Inison.
in Inison.
Mm-hmm,
Yep.
yeah.
it's just, or does the selectmen vote on accepting those
The
donations?
Yeah.
The selectmen, over a
Yes.
certain dollar value, the selectmen have to vote.
I mean,
on
at
it.
what point then do you say, if you're going to accept this donation, there has to be a line item of,
That's a good question to ask the selectmen.
Yeah,
And then you wonder why we can't do anything because we don't have any money and all the townspeople
because
get mad that we
it
don't
starts
have any
getting,
money.
because of all of these things that are donated, we
It
now
just-
have to
like
fulfill.
the
a new
Right.
person looking at
Right.
it now says, wow, you've got a lot of liability based on stuff that was donated, not on decisions to purchase.
And-
It's such
and
a nice
donated
gift.
things-
Yeah.
Donated things that were donated 20, 30 years ago,
Right.
some of them, you know, or more.
Right.
A good
Well,
example
the
is
tennis
the
courts is a
two
perfect
roofs that we have to
example.
replace.
Yeah.
The two,
The two roofs we have to replace.
yeah,
Exactly.
on the shed.
And the tennis courts, they were
Yeah.
donated.
And the skate park.
Yeah.
And the
Yep.
skate park was donated.
Mhm.
And then the townspeople complain that there's nothing here for kids to do,
Mhm.
because we can't afford to do anything
Which
for
is funny,
kids.
because when I was a kid, I just climbed in trees, but.
We just have to get voters involved and either increase our budget or.
Or just an understanding when you accept something donated, that there is a long-term,
Mhm.
At the same time, though, you don't want them to not donate things, because then we'll have nothing. Even though we have, maintaining it's a fraction of the original, and we'd never be able to afford the original, you
accept the
know?
donation, but then also try to get the agreement that the amount of money will be given annually.
Right.
Yeah,
Maintain it.
something.
And that would have to probably be a Board of Selectmen situation.
That would be, but I don't think that, what she's suggesting, I don't think that's ever, anything anybody's ever going to bring up.
Right,
For instance, if we do that and all the buildings that WAC builds and donates to the town,
right.
now, okay, now we have to go back to WAC and say, okay, now give me $5,000 a year.
No, I mean, I think she means future, from here
No,
on out, the
yeah.
next time.
Well,
Say-
no,
Say they
and-
build another building. Okay, now, in addition to thank you for the building, but now you gotta give us money.
They would have to know ahead of time. They can't start building it without
If
all the
they have to
permission.
know ahead of time, we have to know ahead of time.
Right.
Or just hey,
But
you're
I mean-
donating a $20,000 building.
They can't build it without
Now-
all the right permission. There has to be permits, there
Oh,
has
sure
to
they
be
can.
approvals.
Those little buildings, those are built on cinder blocks.
The building permit doesn't, I did a chicken coop, a movable chicken coop on cylinder blocks. I had to get a permit. All those have to, they're supposed to be permitted, especially on town
Put
property.
axles on 'em, we'll be fine.
We had skis on them, not, you know, I mean,
But
the
I
thing.
think the point is, if we could, and because I was thinking the exact same thing, Denise, if we could say, okay, you're donating this $5,000 building, but we want you to also donate another $2,000 that we can put into a fund,
A
a
trust.
trust,
Right,
where
or,
we can access that when we need repairs.
and/or if it's approved by the selectmen to
Mhm.
accept this donation, that then there's an understanding that the operating budget
Needs to,
is
needs,
going to, that will
Yes.
cause an increase in an
Then
operating
that has to go
budget.
before the voters.
Either that or,
If it's gonna
how
be a
you gonna
budget
donate a
item.
$20,000 building, oh, we want you to donate an $18,000 building and put $2,000 into whatever. So if you wanna donate up to 20, okay, we need 18, you need to do it for 18 and give us 2 and a kitty. And
yeah.
Because some of these things wouldn't, you know,
I agree with the idea, the implementation is to be very difficult.
it just, I guess is everybody aware when you accept a donation, the liability that you're accepting along with it?
Because the other
That
thing is,
at
there's
some
2 more
point this
sheds at
budget-
Bolton, at Inison, that are falling apart right now.
Right.
Not just the one shed that we talked about the roof on, there's 2 more.
So anyways, I didn't mean to go off.
I
that
see
tangent,
both
but-
sides of it, and honestly, I don't think a building would ever be built on any town property without first knowledge. I mean, the second somebody starts showing up, then somebody's gonna immediately know they're digging in the ground, you know, it's not gonna happen without knowledge. And that the Board of Selectmen would have to be the ones to attach it to the beginning, it couldn't be afterwards. And it would have, you know, be in a trust. But at the same time, if I were a donator, and I wanted to be WAC and volunteer and give this building because they could get materials, they could get labor, but it required an additional cash, I would be less likely to donate. So
And
it's
I-
both,
And
it's
I
both.
wasn't really thinking about asking the donor to give extra money, it's just when the town
So you want-
accepts the gift,
Then it's the
They ex-
voters.
the
Then it's
voters,
taxpayers
Then it's the
that have to vote
taxpayers.
to bill,
Yeah.
Which is what happens now.
yeah.
Which you would have to put it to vote and
What
see,
happens if they say no?
right, then you
Then you don't.
then you have to refuse the donation, or you have to have
Yeah, that's gonna go over well.
right? So I mean,
Okay,
it's,
WAC, thank you for the building, but now you can have it back.
right? Well, no, I mean, it's all done
You have 30
before.
days to get it off our
No,
property.
It has to be done before.
I just, I look at this bubble,
Mm-hmm.
the discussion that we had at the last meeting, the discussion tonight, the cost of it that's causing us to exceed the budget, but yet you cannot not do it,
Right.
Yeah, we have to.
because you have a
It's our liability now,
responsibility,
yep.
somebody donated, it's now your liability.
Well, and it also goes back to the departments and ability to create a budget. Because eventually, hopefully someday, we're going to have an approved budget. I'm hoping this year if all goes well. So if that's the case, which you just brought up, are you going to put a line in your budget for all of these donated buildings?
And I think at some point, that might be a wise, what's the inventory of all the donated,
Right.
whatever, from something as small as a bench to as big as a shed, and to say,
Mm-hmm.
15 years from now, this shed's gonna need a new roof or a new lock, or,
Yeah.
they're,
Or we
just
can
so
also
that-
say, from now on, we're not taking a donation of a building unless it has a metal roof on it. Because, let's face it, we know the metal roof is gonna last 50 years, and those shingled roofs might only last 10 if they weren't put on properly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's something that we should consider.
Is it nothing that's gonna get solved tonight? It's
Right.
a long-term discussion. But when it comes time to budgeting, for a suggestion, maybe it's something that we actually put
And-
a line in
yeah.
for donated buildings. Like you suggested, get an inventory of all the donated items that require an annual maintenance.
Well, I'm pretty sure everything Park has is donated. It would just be park maintenance. You know what I mean?
Well,
Versus,
How many buildings does Park, how many buildings has Park been donated? For instance, the two at Inison, what about,
to my knowledge,
There's three at
everything's-
Inison,
to
right?
my knowledge,
Anything.
everything's been donated. I don't think the town
The
of Ware
dugouts.
has built any.
Yeah, about to say, you got
Yeah.
dugouts at Bolton, you got
I mean,
dugouts at
Bolton itself, the
Inison.
land was
you got
donated and the excavation work
Three
was
buildings
donated.
at Inison plus,
Football donated the concession and,
well, yeah, but I'm going through Inison. Inison's got three buildings and the gazebo
It
thing.
actually has
Anderson has-
5 buildings.
mm-hmm. Or are you counting the little
It has
lean-to
the
thing that doesn't have
gazebos.
walls?
It has the gazebos, it has the
It has
old
one
snack
pavilion.
shack, the new snack shack, the pavilion,
Well, coming
and
in,
two other,
it's got the pavilion, the old snack shack, the irrigation shed, it's got the new snack shack, the 2 old ones behind
Yeah.
it, and then the 2 dugouts.
yeah, that's
That's 7.
7.
so,
I didn't mean to open Pandora's box, but I do
Uh.
think.
Too late, too late!
But I do think that, and I'm willing to help with it, but, you know, doing a spreadsheet maybe with all the buildings, the playground, the sandboxes, and just knowing that over time, we're gonna need wood chips, or we're gonna need new sand, or we're
my
gonna need bubbles.
recommendation, just so we can continue on with this evening, let's put it on, agenda for not next month, that'd be August, for like September or October. And then we ask that the new code enforcement officer we put together a list of buildings at the park, at all the various parks. Ask the code enforcement officer to go over and look at them, give us feedback, evaluate the buildings.
Good idea.
And then from there, we can start working on our budget stuff. Because our budget season's gonna be starting in October, which means eventually, we're gonna need to be discussing a maintenance line.
And I mean, every single building's gonna need,
$3,000 a
every
year.
single building's gonna need maintenance, even if the code enforcement officer says, you know, right now, these are pretty good, this one's in danger, red, yellow, green, they're all gonna need X amount of dollars, it's just whether it's a 5-year, 10-year, or 15-year plan, but they're all gonna
Right
need
now,
it.
all we have is what we've seen.
Right.
Let's have the code enforcement officer look at it. That just gives Park more credence to asking for more money. Hey, these are the buildings, we have 2 dugouts that are starting to rot.
Mhm.
These are gonna need to be replaced.
Do we have a code enforcement officer?
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do,
His name is Romeo.
Romeo.
yes.
Very nice gentleman. So, that's my suggestion, just so, because we could stay on this for.
If you
hours.
wanna, you know, start thinking spreadsheet-wise, you can email me with questions and I can answer questions
No, or I
and
can
stuff.
even take a shoot down to some of these
Right,
places and just
Take pictures and,
and-
yeah.
start dumping in.
That would
those
be
spreadsheets.
wonderful.
The other thing we gotta do is also, some of it is, you know, I know we have Bolton, and I don't know, he's repairing the dugouts and fixing some of the dugouts, is, okay, you know, well, we got the Great Eagle projects, and we got the picnic tables and other things, and saying, okay, if you're gonna do it, here's some of the things we know we need,
Well, but
you're gonna
Eagles,
fix it,
yeah,
here's what we would love you to
Eagles
do.
wanna
so
pick
much.
their own project, they
Right.
really want it to be 100% what they're deciding to
And I do
do.
like Lisa's idea that if we're going to start accepting buildings, we need to put minimums on there. Metal roof, $3,000 great idea. So, things to start thinking about when that topic comes back up again.
All right,
Well, like the sign that we keep getting donated for Chase Park, you know, is it gonna be pressure treated wood? And
That's a
things
good
like that, of
question, I
saying,
don't
hey,
know.
look, okay, what materials are you putting with this that it's not gonna rot?
Treated or cedar?
well, legally, the posts going into the ground have to be pressure treated, and typically the rotting happens at the ground level where it touches, so.
Does it have to be pressure treated or does it have to be rot resistant?
The building codes I know of, if it touches concrete, it has to be pressure treated. What is rot resistant other than pressure treated? You
Well,
mean,
there's quite a few, but cedar is one of them, but.
cedar's a lot more expensive than pressure treated, I wouldn't imagine
You see
so.
lumber rates easily, everything's.
Yeah, well, I know they're all more expensive, but I would think they'd both equally rise the
I'm just
same.
wondering if you could just put like steel columns, or steel posts instead.
Lolly columns.
Right. Cement that in the ground, you don't have to worry about rot, just rust. And that can be fixed.
Probably cheaper, Pam, to buy a metal lolly column than a pressure treated post.
Cost, that's it.
That's a good idea.
On to the next.
Camera signs, and I know you were gonna talk to, the phone company about Wi-Fi at Bolton.
I did talk to them, I have to write a whole, I basically have to ask them, I have to write this whole thing about a donation,
Okay,
and I haven't done it yet.
okay.
Camera signs are, those, I believe those are on
They're on the pile.
that sign of, no, those signs, I think, say under video surveillance or whatever.
Okay. So the Bolton Park shed along with the Inison Park shed, Lisa, you brought it to the Board of Selectmen meeting?
Yes,
The estimates, and
Yep.
Naomi said that, or John told me, it got
Yeah.
approved. So it was we got estimates.
Yeah.
So the one company, Century Roofing, gave me $2,000 if they did metal roofing on each shed. And then the free offer of the donation with the plaque on the other in asphalt. And then the other company that I asked was Valancourt, and he wanted $2,000 a shed for asphalt. So we had our numbers.
Yep.
There's a perfect example of free asphalt is free now,
Mhm.
Yes,
but not free, say, 10 years or.
yes, it's not,
A metal roof for $2,000 that might last 50 years.
Right,
yeah,
Is probably more cost effective.
right.
yeah.
But not free right now.
But the Board of Selectmen was given
Yeah.
all the bids.
Yeah.
Hey,
And
no,
we
I'm just
could,
saying, it's
right?
just an example
Yeah.
of thinking long-term.
absolutely,
Well, I mean, we would've been happy to go with the metal roof if you guys had the money in your budget, that's what you suggested.
yeah,
Your suggestion, your.
was for asphalt, because
Yeah.
it's free for right now.
Yep. Versus $4,000 coming
Yeah.
out
Well,
of the
you also
budget.
have to figure in 10 years, that shed may not even be,
But,
you
well,
might have a
it
metal
will.
roof on a shed that doesn't,
Well, no, I mean, no, the shed,
As long as you
have a
keep
roof.
asphalt shingles, yeah.
if you have a roof, you're gonna have a shed.
Underneath's gonna be fine, it's the roof.
The roof that you have to have. And I think that if we were taking a donation, we'd really wanna think about that, making sure it's metal. But because we're stuck right now with the budget that we've got,
The
That was the
plywood's
best.
holding up really good though. Where the shingles aren't there, I mean, the plywood's, which is
We're
good.
lucky.
Yeah, it's in good shape.
That's
Okay,
lucky.
so,
I think we lost the shingles this year, that's why.
yeah, right, it's a newer thing. So we'll have 2 sheds with new asphalt roof and a plaque. And you said they were going to do it when they did the other
Yeah, we
roofing
also
job?
have to redo the roof over at, the East Ware Fire Station, so we're going to, because of the size of that roof, we're gonna see if we can just get all 3 done at once.
Do we know, timing on it, just because if the fields are in use?
That would be a question for Naomi.
Okay, so
the fields are in,
east,
but these are the sheds, they're in the playgrounds, they're not
I
gonna.
understand that, but there's nails going around and people driving and
I
it's
would imagine
liability.
They'd be doing these in one day sometime during
Yes.
the week,
Yes,
so the likelihood.
if it's before 3 o'clock, they're not gonna
Most
come up with
likely.
anything.
But again, that's a question that's better suited for Naomi.
You said east,
The East Ware, the fire station that's, near Sugar Hill on Concord Stage.
okay, East Ware Fire Station.
What do we call the things at the skate park that they do the tricks and stuff?
Call them
on?
features. skate park features, ramp. You can call them ramps, but they're not all ramps. So they're just features, because some are ramps, some are pipes, some are beams.
Doohickeys.
Feature doohickeys. Okay. Lastly, okay, so I took some pictures. I don't think I sent them to anybody. At Bolton Park, I was noticing recently, there are, soccer nets. Old, abused, discarded soccer nets thrown
Yes.
around. I don't think we should have that. All right, unfortunately, I did not send the pictures to myself for email, so they're on
I know,
my
I know
phone.
what you're talking about.
Well, I know, but I want everybody to know what I'm talking about. So you can swipe, let's see,
If they're junk, let's just get rid of
One.
them.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 7 pictures. So if you just scroll one, you can pass it to Dave. Right, but I think wax should get rid of. They're wax.
Are they nets or the frames?
They're both.
Both.
Some of them are just broken. Some of them are laying in a pile. They're not being used. You can see
Yeah.
that there's new ones. So I was.
The wax, you said?
Yeah, they belong
Yes,
to WAC.
they belong to wax. So I don't think Park should have to dispose of them.
Ask them to get rid of it then.
So that's what I'm wondering, if Lisa's able to contact somebody at Park, I mean
Whack.
WAC,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah, and there are lacrosse nets and all the other things and just get rid
well,
of
there
it.
was one lacrosse one, I think everything's soccer, pretty much.
Yeah, they're the little soccer nets.
No, some of them are huge.
Yeah, some of them are huge, but some of them are the smaller.
Yeah, there were a couple
All
little
right,
ones.
so does
Do you
everybody
wanna
want me
see
to just send an
pictures?
email?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
I'm gonna put it right into
I mean, I
their-
know you've seen them,
I know where they are.
but
yeah.
it's like, I mean, they went and spent all the time and set up the batting cages and everything, and that looked great, but this is just like, some of them are just, they're trashed.
And if they're saying that they're good, then great, can you clean up your mess, please?
Right. And there may be one or two that just need a part, but they're just, yeah.
It's more of a
Kinda
safety.
looking like
It's
a
more of
net
a, it's
graveyard.
more of
It
a,
looks
more of a
like it
safety
does.
issue of,
The park's looking so good, they did all the tree cleaning and the irrigation's go, you know what I mean? It's like, and you look at that. All right, so you'll,
Trees, how are our 2 new trees doing?
They're doing well.
there's one dead branch at the Bolton one
There's
lower
one dead
branch,
branch,
but,
there's one dead branch at the other one too.
but that could, I mean, we still are technically in a drought, we're a little bit behind, but
They're looking pretty good.
But yeah, and that can just be transplanting, shoveling, hitting a root, you know. Okay. Anybody else have any talk about Bolton?
Who handles the maintenance of the driveway? Is that DOT, or is that town DPW?
I don't think there's ever been any maintenance on the driveway.
I just think how rather than washboard.
It is pretty bad.
It is. And I don't know if that's something that DPW would just treat it like one of their class 5 roads if we asked them.
I don't know. Probably another good question for Naomi,
Okay.
considering her family donated it.
Think she has pull. Do you wanna email her about that, or you want me to do it?
Naomi?
Yeah, Bolton Parks driveway, if that's something that DPW would just grade, add a little material.
The grader down, right now it's up in the north end of town.
Right, but I'm sure it goes down there.
Yep. But before I go and ask Benji to go do it, I wanna make sure that there's not any other agreement, or there's a reason. we're
It
not
looks
doing
like nothing's been done to it for 6 or 7 years, so I can't imagine.
I'm surprised nobody's complained about it.
Right? Well, they know if they did, they just have to pay for it.
Well, how many out-of-town users, how many people from Goffstown and Bedford and everywhere else?
50% of the people that use those for the events are from out of another town, because well, I shouldn't say 50%, because we do play ourselves sometimes too.
Yeah, but
a
there's
lot
also
of them are.
people that come to use the park, you know, for other uses.
But I think the people that live in town realize this is what class 5 roads are like.
Do you wanna pass this over to
Yeah, that
Denise?
keeps the
This
speed
is
low.
a list of the facilities.
Did you want to see pictures of the nets?
I've seen it.
Bolton? Okay. Thanks. Ask the expert. All right. So Bolton driveway. So you emailed Naomi, or you're emailing
I'm
Naomi?
working on it right now.
Okay. So anything else, Bolton?
Nope.
Okay. Chase Park. Yes, I'm ready.
We just got an email,
The dead tree, yes,
The dead tree.
please. Yeah. Yeah.
but I wanted to point out that the very first thing that Mr. Royce says,
Mm-hmm.
just wanted to say what a great job the Parks and Rec do at the Park and Beach area. This includes the summer staff. They are excellent.
That was
So,
really, really nice.
yes.
And
That
we
was
have been
nice.
getting, we did get a couple other compliments from people who have, including neighbors of the park, of Chase Park, who have noticed the improvement over the last couple of years and are continuing to compliment us on it getting even better this year. So
That's very nice.
kudos to our staff.
What's this about a dead tree?
Yeah, do you wanna read the rest of
So the
it?
rest of the email is, the reason I'm writing is out of concern about a dead tree near the main beach slightly to the left that is hanging over the water and is not safe as it could come down at any time and affect swimmers at the beach. It has yellow safety tape on it, so it's hard to miss.
Yeah,
Does
we marked
Parks
it.
and Rec have money in their budget to take care of this, or would it need to be raised? We go there all summer long and really enjoy the lake, so I would be happy to donate towards the removal if that is what is needed.
Yeah, we
So-
did mark that
Right,
as
and
one of the
Benji
ones
said it
Benji
was
said he
beyond
couldn't.
his capabilities.
So we are working,
We would have to contact a tree company to
Okay.
take care of the
And I
bigger issues.
Did ask a couple people last year.
You did
Yeah.
contact tree
Including-
companies?
and
Yeah, I
and
remember, 'cause
people
we
were
got
saying
one
it's
from-
Too little, too small.
Small of a
wouldn't do it.
job. Yeah, a tree or two is kind of a small thing. But we have to have someone insured. We can't just have someone show up with a chainsaw and throw it, unless it happens. We can't, you know,
we can't.
Can you lose something in the water right there?
a whole car. Just kidding. So,
Huh. All right.
Maybe reach out to Asplund Tree, when they're doing their cutbacks in town this year, if they're doing anything on Reservoir.
right,
They were supposed to be,
I'll
they were
email
supposed to
Peter.
be over
I can-
doing
I'll
in
touch
my
base with
section
Peter
of town,
Powers.
but I haven't seen them yet.
And ask
They're
him.
supposed to be doing my road.
Do you
too,
want to
and they
write
haven't.
to him now?
Sure.
And
Right.
it was like months
does
ago.
he
We'll
work
check
for
with Peter, 'cause
Asplund,
Peter,
or does
Peter's
he
done
work
a
for
lot of
Eversource?
volunteer work for us, a lot.
So, do you wanna answer the email?
I'm working on it right now,
All right.
but we are aware of it, and this is what,
It's been a problem, yeah.
yeah,
We're
this is,
actively searching.
And
for
you can
a
tell
solution.
him
yeah.
that it's too difficult of a job for the person that we asked to do the first part, and
Yeah.
it's too small of a job for most other companies. Maybe he knows a company, maybe
Yeah.
he, you know what, like, that would do a small job. So it would be, tell him the whole
The only
spiel.
problem is even if he knows a company, they have to be insured.
And I
They have to come
understand
to
that.
town.
Exactly, you're right, and I agree. Maybe he knows a big enough company that because it's for someone they know,
Yeah.
they would do a little thing like that, you know, kinda, cause you hear about stuff like that,
The
that,
only thing I wonder is, because it's hanging over the water, do you need a DES permit? We all know where we're at with DES permits.
that's a really good question, but we're not changing the shoreline. If they cut
you-
it-
if
if
you
they
take
cut the
down a
stump.
tree, you're affecting the potential erosion of the shoreline.
Not if you leave the stump. You don't have to take the stump out.
I know, I'm just thinking, if,
The shoreline isn't technically affected if you don't take the stump out.
you wouldn't think, but putting some stone in a pothole would be affecting the shoreline either, but it is.
Right, because you're adding something to the shoreline, but if you take something that's 6 inches above the shoreline away and the stump that's actually contacting the shoreline, nothing's changed as far as that
And
part.
work within so many feet of the shoreline.
Okay,
need to
so
check.
it's not,
Without a DES permit.
We need to check on that.
I don't know how many feet it is, I know,
think it's 25 feet.
okay,
Well,
cause we
then all
had to
those
have,
other trees then that came down.
cause we had a lot of tree
Yeah.
work done that was really right close to the water,
We did.
that we didn't.
And I don't know the exact.
So we can ask Naomi if we have to, so Pam's gonna contact Peter.
I messaged Naomi about the driveway.
Do you wanna message her and ask her if we need a permit for that way Park has gotten permission on if we can proceed with it being on the shoreline?
I think it would be 2 separate permits, because there's 2 separate things. One is filling in or.
No, I know,
If a tree
separate from
falls
the
down at
boat,
the
separate from
shoreline.
the boat ramp, absolutely.
Does somebody need to get permission for the tree to fall?
No, but I know how to do that. Water softener salt.
Mm-hmm. You put that near the shoreline.
I know, right?
Okay.
Catch 22.
Okay.
All right, so you're gonna ask Naomi about if there's a permit needed. And you're gonna
Where are we
contact
on the
Peter,
other permit?
And you're gonna, so, all right, so Naomi answered, oh boy.
Haven't read my emails in a couple of days.
She didn't answer us directly, she answered the last person that inquired, I think it was his third email of inquiry, cause I had been
Yes.
following
Hans.
up with him a few times about, where we were at. And then I said, please contact the town administrator, because at this point, it's out of Park's hands, and the town administrator is directly in contact with, the state. So Naomi was able to specifically, exactly tell him where we were at, and I can read it because I don't have it memorized.
Essentially, the permit is in, we are waiting on approval. Even once we get approval, we can't do anything until the water line recedes.
Right, we can't do anything till the fall, and I knew that, but there was something, I agree.
It went into how we initially applied for one permit.
Yep,
That permit was not the correct permit.
Right.
So that was a delay, and then we ended up having to apply for the correct permit. By
Yeah,
the
but
time
she's-
we applied at that point, it would have been too late and the water was already rising. 'Cause
right,
it-
but she said something specifically, I thought about conservation, and that's what I was kinda just wondering, what she said
yeah,
about it.
was-
Yeah, she did.
And I don't remember what it is, so I'm just trying to, just read it the other day.
It wasn't conservation, it was another, like American Heritage Foundation or something like that, that had to be contacted. I forget exactly what it was.
Oh, poor Naomi. Is it wrong to have 7,800 emails from one person? I just can't remember when she wrote it. Boat launch ramp for residents, here it is. Oh, that's not, I don't think that's the same one. Alright, I don't,
Alright, I got it right here. The town does have intentions of making repairs, but many of the things occurred that didn't allow us to repair, many things have occurred that didn't allow us to repair before opening the season.
here,
The
what-
town prepared the application for DES for repairs to the boat ramp at Chase Park. The application was submitted as a shoreland application because we were going to be near the shoreline. The state returned it saying it was the wrong application, needed to be a wetlands application. New application was completed, but before it could be submitted, it had to go to the New Hampshire Heritage Bureau so they can check their database to make sure there's no endangered species there. It then goes to Town Conservation Commission for sign off and then back to the state.
okay,
In the meantime, the state started replacing replacing the boards 2 to 3 weeks ago, earlier than posted due to drought conditions, so the water is already back up to the ramp before we can get to it. We are not permitted to get near or work in the water, so we are still doing the paperwork in hopes of getting approval from the state. If approved, the permit's good for 5 years. The thoughts that we should be able to make repairs in the fall when the water is let out, or spring before the water returns. And that was
So-
from Naomi, dated June 24th.
yep, I
Okay.
found it too. So to this point, to what I'm reading, it still has to be finished with the New Hampshire Heritage Bureau and Conservation.
As of June 24th.
All right. So it's probably, I don't know, it might be a good idea in a week or two just to ask Naomi how it's going, because she's probably gonna have to keep prodding the Heritage Bureau and the Conservation Commission.
It's on, she's been on it.
Okay,
We've talked about it.
I know, she has a lot on her
I
list.
think- I think conservation only meets once a month, so.
Well, maybe we need to prep our conservation to saying, hey, here's what's going on.
It is our conservation,
They're
it is
already
our,
aware of it.
that's,
So they're aware, they know it's coming,
Mm-hmm.
and once it's approved, it's kind of one of those,
well, no,
it's
no,
getting
no,
them
that's
to
the
approve
problem.
it.
It's not a rubber stamp situation,
No,
there's,
Getting them to approve it's a whole nother ballgame.
there's pushback.
That may require
Mhm.
Yes.
joint meetings between boards and committees.
Yes.
Yes, there is pushback from our Conservation Commission over,
While we're still on Bolton Field,
no, we're on Chase Park now, but I'll go
I'm
back.
sorry, Chase Park, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
Street light in the middle of the beach, what do we find?
Naomi's on that too.
She was gonna talk to the
She's-
electrician, right?
She's got an electrician to go out, but I'm waiting to hear from her, because when he's available, then I will go make sure that there's no issues with him getting into the park and having access immediately.
Because I don't know about everybody else's thought, but I'm thinking if there is a street line on the beach, that's going to prevent a lot of nighttime activities, we'll say.
Yes.
Well, and if there isn't power to it, how much does it cost to put a solar panel thing in to run it?
But just
That- well,
run-
that-
run
he
in
can
the
look
line.
into it.
The wire's already there, it's just gonna be hooked up, I would imagine, if anything. Maybe the bulb switch is burnt out. I don't
Right,
know.
but if there is no wires, I'm just wondering, you know, how much it would cost to do just the solar run it, because
It's gonna get
digging
expensive.
well, yeah, but digging conduit for new lines is very
No,
expensive.
it's just, it's all overhead. I think I was. all overhead lines.
Oh, okay,
I have a solar light on my telephone pole in the middle of my driveway, it was like $85.
to buy the thing, yeah, I didn't think it was, cause it's one bulb that you're powering,
And it's very bright.
and then there's never a bill to pay. So that's an
Yeah.
option, but if it's overhead wires, I don't know why I was thinking that it was buried, which
Yeah,
is
but the thing
outrageous.
is okay, is it on a timer or is it on a,
It would be a dusk to dawn, you
Oh,
can put a
okay.
bulb in that's a dusk to dawn sensor bulb these days, so.
We just gotta figure that out, cause I think that would be in everybody's best interest.
It is.
yeah, but
she's
unfortunately,
on
now,
her
now
own.
they got light, now they can see you, now they can have a party.
Well, they're
So
already-
now you made
Everybody
it
else can
worse.
see them, no, everybody else can see him having a party, no more hiding under darkness,
They won't have to build a fire,
right?
but it'll also catch the other nocturnal activities that happen.
Yeah, that's, it's more of a deterrent than an encouragement, it really is. So season progress updates about the lake in general, I've definitely heard that Mr. Van has been visiting quite often,
Every once in a while.
and,
He brought popsicles, thank you.
Kristen said she
Sounds
just
good.
loves it when you come to visit. She's like, John's there and he's checking on everything. And then we've obviously had a bunch of compliments on staff and cleanliness and running. Anybody have any more
We have had,
updates?
we did have a weird thing that happened. The water level drastically dropped overnight. Kristen alerted me. I went down. The level itself went down. We measured from where it was the previous evening. This is probably a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. It dropped about 8 inches on the dock. Between 6.5 and 7.5 inches on the dock.
You could
Which
literally
meant
see the water line.
it receded about 3 feet off of the boat ramp. So there was a lot of concern.
What happened to the dam?
I contacted
DES.
DES, and DES came out, and I met with them at the dam, and
Like the
he
same
showed
day,
me-
they were
the
really
same day. They were great.
awesome.
The guy actually left mowing his own lawn to come meet me. We went to the dam. He showed me that at the dam, the water level had changed by 1/8 of an inch. So he said there is a bathtub effect that can happen, usually not in a lake that size because it's so small. He didn't understand what was going on. He said he would
But the
come
lake,
back because there's 2 leaks in the dam. So he came back the next day to put some cinder blocks in that he said would help with some of the leakage in the dam. And we've been measuring it from the point where he asked us to measure it. I think we had like a 15.5 inch drop at one point, and we're up to like an 11 inch drop.
increase.
We're really, we're heading back in the right direction. It's not where it was 2 weeks ago, but the rains definitely helped.
Because the dam, they have monitors on the dam, so they
Which is,
can-
the monitors on the dam, I didn't realize.
No, I didn't know.
They actually, send every hour a signal up through satellite, and they have it on the state computer so they can see that. So when I called, they were like, it has only changed by 1/8 of an inch. It dropped 1/8 of an inch overnight. We don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, well, clearly we have a problem
But
here.
it was good that he came out and
Yeah.
talked to you and saw it.
And so he's been great. I've been in contact with him. And I've been down there a few times, but Kristen's been measuring it every single day, so we have a record.
What about, there was some text going back and forth regarding some rebar or metal sticking.
There
out.
is some metal sticking up, at the swim stairs. Unfortunately, there's been some washout of concrete there, and that will need repair, so,
It's hard to see the picture, Denise, but
Yeah,
it's
it's not a great-
where the concrete
Some of
steps are.
some of the metal's been removed that was there, so it's not
It's like
as bad.
reinforcing to hold the concrete together,
It's,
I would
it's
imagine.
basically the metal's on top of it, it's kinda like the metal that they put in to keep it all together, so it's like, some of it has been removed. There's a few other pieces that are still there.
They're
We have a
sharp.
Stabby pokey issue.
We have it, yep, there's a
But
stabby
there's
pokey
there's
issue.
sticks around it, so you
They
can't,
staked it off.
it's staked off, so it
We have
can't
to-
be,
we're
nobody
going-
can get onto
We
it.
need to repair it.
Even pouring gravel on it is not gonna help it, because all of the people can do is
we
pick
have
up.
any large, like, bowling ball sized rocks that we can put on there? Just, those aren't gonna wash away.
Yeah, that's a good idea to put that on there for now.
Or we have the concrete blocks left over from.
Yeah, but the people are just gonna pick those up and throw those in.
Yeah, and if you put actual large boulders there, that might deter them, but just something to prevent, or, because liability at this point, we know about it, we can't fix it.
I will work on that.
We need somebody with a tractor just to go in and pick one up. and
I'll
just-
roll it down.
Well, you roll it down and they know you make me going too far.
I don't know, it's within 25 feet of the shore.
Take one from 25 feet of the shore.
Within 5 inches of the shore.
How's things been going with the price increase this year?
We've had,
Some complaints.
we've had some complaints. We had,
From out of town residents?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
We had, somebody from a neighboring town's fire department yesterday, who came in and, spoke harshly to Kristen and sped through the park and revved his truck and sped out.
Left, okay. that's
Which was
good.
really interesting, cause it's like, we know who you are, buddy. We've had some other complaints. We've had some people who have sworn at Kristen
Mhm.
and other staff members about the prices. And some other, unfortunately, the swearing also usually comes along with a speeding into the park, turn around, and just kind of not being safe. Which is why,
In a
Well,
parking
that's
lot with
The
people.
unfortunate design flaw of that is
Yeah.
there's no way to turn around.
Yeah.
Um,
well, they could, but they
If
could
there's
back
no
up
one
and turn
behind
around
them.
there's nobody
If
behind
there's
them.
no one behind them, they could back up.
Which
but-
I would say in most cases is the case, but,
Well, I
yeah.
guess Kristen said if you're gonna leave, please back up and leave. She could tell him, please back. I don't know if that's even gonna
I
work.
don't know, she's handled it very well, I have to say, I think Kristen's really handled it very well, but I think, I mean,
She
like
said-
anything else, it's,
Yeah. She
it
told
feels
me for the
bad.
most part, she felt like she was taking the brunt of it, not too much on
She
the younger
tries to-
staff, so.
She tries to make sure she's the one taking the brunt, not them.
And then we did
So-
have that church, was it a church group or a school group that contacts us that they come in with the youth?
St. Marie's.
Yeah, and they said they'd been coming in, I said it's $40 for the vehicle, and they gave us what dates they were coming, so we could just make sure we had another, staff member, so she didn't feel overburdened, but they've been coming for years, she said, and it works out really well, and they pay the vehicle
Yeah.
price. Is it Manchester?
Manchester.
Yeah. Yeah, so they pay the out-of-town vehicle price?
The one question, on speaking of fees, and I don't know if it's something that we can change, is we have all the fees, but we don't have an out-of-state or an out-of-town veteran rate.
So we kept out-of-town everything, just you're an
Out
out-of-towner?
of town, but
Because
they,
we're gonna
I've
do
been asked by a
senior-
couple of the people
Right.
who are on the staff that says, do we want to do anything for out-of-town
And
veteran?
we used to have out-of-town veteran and out-of-town senior, and it got to be so many line items with so many different prices that
That it
the
was too
staff
much.
asked to just clean it up.
And I think, I did talk to Kristen about not the out-of-town veteran, but the out-of-town senior rate, because we have some seniors who have been coming for years, who this year, from out of town, I think from Milford and from New Boston. And they're seniors who've just been coming for years and years, and this year, they haven't. So I did have a conversation with somebody and said that I understand. I mean, they're the type of, it's just this sweet little old couple that
Right,
come in
it
and they
is
wanna
who
use
you-
the beach for
Right.
a couple of hours. I don't know, I would love to put it back for, I would like,
Would
I
you
would
do
like,
seniors
I would
and
like,
veterans, or just one or the other, or?
just seniors, I think. I mean, I think we have a veteran rate for in town, but
I'm just talking
especially-
I'm talking out of town.
Exactly.
You said
Out-of-town
veteran, you said
veterans.
veterans, and she said
I'm saying
seniors.
seniors, yeah. But we could talk about it. I think it would be worth having a discussion about, to
And
some-
I'm gonna be on the other side of it, and, this is, it's a town of Ware,
Mhm.
asset.
We pay for it.
We
Yeah.
pay for it.
Mhm.
And it's partly there for our residents.
Mhm.
And if it's a 90-year-old couple from out of town, I feel really bad,
Yeah.
but they have the money to pay the gas to get there. It's $40 for the whole season.
No, the
Oh, for
day.
the
They
day.
get one
Oh,
day.
it's 40
Mhm.
day?
One day.
Oh, and
Not
they're
It's
out
a
of town?
one-day
Oh.
pass, yeah.
Yeah.
They don't
Oh,
get a
so-
season option when they're out of
okay.
town.
But, you know, again, it comes back to collecting money to, I'm
Yeah.
assuming the money you get at the park goes back to help with the maintenance?
General
or-
fund.
It goes
General.
directly to the town.
Again,
But it's what pays the salaries, it's what
Yeah.
we
We
ultimately
do
get.
use it, but it's
Right.
not allocated
Right.
just
If
for
we
us.
start to look at, we talked about a benefit to employees who
Yeah.
are out of town.
Yeah,
maybe
town
seniors,
employees.
now
Yeah,
maybe
yeah, it
veterans.
gets to be.
Then does it become first responders? And some
Yeah,
point
and
you
I-
have to say,
Yeah.
we're really sorry, but go to Clough State Park and pay $8 a day, whatever it may be.
Probably even cheaper.
Or go
Thing
to
is-
Sunapee, or,
Right,
there's other
or-
places.
Alaquoya or the state park at the
Okay.
beach,
I was just asked to bring it up, so I didn't wanna open a whole can of worms, but I just
And it's not
asked to
because
bring it
I
up.
So my thought,
disrespect,
let's see what, we asked for the staff to keep a lot of information this year for metrics. Let's see what happens when the park closes for the year, let's sit down, let's see what the numbers are. And then, that's a discussion we can have for the off-season.
Well, at this moment, we'll just have non-resident only, and whether they have a boat or a car. That's all we'll see.
Yeah.
But that's more information than
Then we've had.
we've had anecdotal evidence from last year, the year before, but now we got some hard numbers to work with.
Yeah, and I
Absolutely.
do agree because, to an extent, we've got, oh, well, we wanna let town employees, well, what about teachers? What about support staff? What about, all of a sudden it gets to be this really big group and saying, well, because they're on the road crew, then they get a free pass. Well, what about,
And
200
John informed
teachers?
me that the road crew's
You know.
considered first responders, so it definitely does get bigger and bigger and bigger the
Yeah.
more you allow.
so just,
My thought was just to have them let them have, town rate, town resident rate.
But
Right.
then we've got all the teachers that should also, what about them?
If you,
They
right,
can come and ask.
if you open it up to town employees or first responders or both, right, and that's what,
It gets to be a lot.
and I think that that's what we thought was for,
And then
um,
that's opening up a can of worms with the townspeople, because the seasonals that go to Autumn Hills and Cold Springs.
they get, well,
Then
and
they're like, well,
if
yeah.
they're seasonal there, they are resident rate,
They're
cause they're paying
taxpayers.
property tax,
Taxpayers.
yeah.
But it gets they don't understand
Yeah.
the difference between,
so it's 40, I didn't really,
$40
I
a
thought
day.
it was $40 out of
They don't get
town.
a season. So it used to be $10 a day, and last year we increased it to $20.
So what we
So
had
it
was
was
we
free-
had
and
we
now
had a
it's
lot
40.
of problems with
Overcrowding.
overcrowding and
Yeah.
people parking at the end of Reservoir
Yeah,
Drive
yeah,
and then
yeah.
coming back and grabbing other,
Yeah.
it was
So out of
carloads.
town was always a day pass only. They could never buy a season pass.
I think $40 is high, however.
It is.
If it keeps.
But if you have a
yeah,
family of
yeah,
4
yeah.
and they're coming and spending the
Yeah,
entire
yeah,
day, that's pretty cheap.
But
if
no,
you have two
I don't
seniors-
disagree with it, it'd just
We
be
want
interesting to
it
see if it
50.
impacted the number of people.
It definitely has.
It's helped us
Yeah.
to keep some trouble out.
Well, because at that point, Clough State Park is a much more reasonable price. They have much more staff with rangers and a huge beach.
Well, I
and
also know
ample
that
parking.
last year there were residents who were being turned away.
Yes.
Yep.
Because it was out of town
Yes.
people, so I thought the $40 was a seasonal.
That's why I joined the board, because I couldn't fit in the parking spot and I parked on the street and I got a ticket and then I said, this isn't right, and that's why I'm here now. So yes,
You bring up my next topic. How about street parking?
have we heard anything
We
about
haven't,
happening?
we
We've
have
had a
not
problem
been
with it.
having problems with it.
4th of July used to be the worst time and it's
Yeah.
been rainy.
Well, you only have you've only had 3 walk-ins all year, where last year we had a whole
And those
bunch.
are usually kids that live down the street.
Yeah.
I
my
mean,
son
so
will
it's
be that
3
way.
walk-ins, which this year is next to nothing. I mean,
Yeah.
The parking signs at the gate helped. I know that was Kristen's.
So the parking signs at the gate, I'm not sure if they've helped, but I have not had any calls from neighbors recently. However, we have had lots of rain and cooler nights, so,
And we're open 7 days a week now.
Yeah.
90% of our problem was the days we weren't open.
yeah.
So, We don't
We
normally
have
have an
had-
epic heat
We
wave before
have
school's
continued
out.
to, Kristen has, continued to keep a log. We definitely have had some activity at night. We've had glass,
Yeah,
broken
the
glass
trash
and
being
trash and
Alcohol.
alcohol and other stuff.
I don't
And we
think
put-
we're
and-
gonna alleviate that.
No,
What the problem is you're also taking all the trash cans in. So they,
the
they,
dumpster's
That's not
there.
the problem.
The dumpster's there.
there. People are just,
dumpster is there.
and, yeah, people could take their own beer cans
Because
out.
I've gone before
Or
we had
not.
the barrels out and just cleaned up just because I was there and I had to be there for something. I think it's a tree planting and I was cleaning up and I just put it in the dumpster because the trash barrels weren't out. So,
Yeah.
And berries are out right now, so trash barrel is out right now, it's just a nightmare.
yes, you do not want to encourage the bears. Any more Chase Park?
we did some tree trimming the other day.
You did? You trimmed the trees and the bush and the shrub? Thank you.
Well, no, we trimmed them, the trees right where they come in for the boats.
People that come
Okay.
in with pontoon boats, if they have a canopy,
Okay.
they were getting caught on the branches, so he brought his
Thank
cutter
you,
and
Dave.
Thank you.
got up in the truck and he pulled them down, so.
Nice.
Opened up some more sun in that area too.
Oh, that's nice too. Awesome. All right. Library. So we had the summer reading kickoff and I went and helped and it was just a matter of talking to Clay mostly, who's the library director. Eva came by and helped me set up
I heard.
croquet. They had almost everything pretty much set up.
I'm gonna sign off on some, hours for her.
I took everything, oh, community service, absolutely, she was there for an hour. I took everything back to the shed at Bolton, except I did not have a vehicle big enough with me for the cornhole games, so I just have to go back and grab those. They have 2 sets of games, they're holding on to the bocce ball, cause they're doing, like they've been doing the demonstration, they do a bocce ball demonstration, so they asked if they could hold on to that. And they did talk about the pickleball, which you had already brought up in the tennis court parts. They were excited about doing more things like that. Have we heard about, did the stories at the lake start? Have we heard anything about that?
They have started, and I don't remember exactly what the solution,
We left the
everybody
passes
who
at the
had,
thing.
everybody who's come has a pass, a $10 pass.
They already have a pass,
They have
okay.
their passes.
So she
and
hasn't
they'll
had
be
to
fine.
give them
Yeah.
out? Okay, but they're there if they need, they were gonna just take them from the gatehouse and then give them back when they leave, so.
Yeah.
Which works out. All right, so I just have to get a time to pick up the cornhole games. And, so Inison shed roofs, unless anybody has anything else to talk about the library.
We're good?
Inison shed roofs, we talked about that with the Bolton Park, that was accepted, so that'll get the free asphalt replacement with the plaque sign. And we talked about Purington a little bit with the golfer damage. And, did you wanna do a post, or do you want Pam to do a Facebook post
I
about the
already did.
divots? You already did it?
Yep, it's already done.
Okay, and then the gazebo, the Patriotic Celebration Committee put in a field usage form for the gazebo for the Patriotic Festival to Naomi. And she asked if we needed a copy, I said, no, it's fine, as long as it got submitted, and
And
approved.
did they put up the stuff on the gazebo?
I saw that tonight, yeah.
Oh,
They put like red, white, and blue stuff up on the gazebo and things like that.
What do they call it, bunting?
Buntings, I wanted to say buntings.
I'm assuming it would either be them or the Historic Society, so I don't know.
So when the Historical Society replaced the gazebo, they gave it over to Parks and.
They donated
The
it
town of Ware has to assume ownership of any buildings on the town property.
once donated. and
Yes.
accepted
So
by the
it
board.
is,
Yes.
it's now this commission's responsibility if it needs to be painted or.
Yep.
Okay.
And so in September, we're gonna start talking about our Christmas.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do a Christmas tree in the gazebo, so.
Yeah, we may need to make damn sure we're putting that on Facebook. We are talking about the Christmas tree.
It's on all the meetings, we'll just,
Well, I
that's,
mean,
and that's on future business, the, Christmas tree in the gazebo and lots of lights.
Are we-
speaking of, while you're under that future business, have we called what is it, dairy, whoever we get the pumpkins from, to order our
Deborah,
pumpkin?
Deborah?
Not yet.
We need to call them and put in our order.
They probably won't talk to us until.
Right, but
so
we
they-
wanna get on their radar because,
We want
And we wanna-
150 pumpkins this year.
150 pumpkins and do we need to approve that in our budget?
We do pumpkin hunting every October.
So, I
We
mean,
hide them all over town at our properties, and the kids get the
Love it.
little mini pumpkin, and they get the tag, and then they come to the lake, and they get bags of candy, and it's so much fun.
That worked out well last year.
We really had
well, I would
fun.
almost like to do what we did last year, and almost do it as a
I,
drive-through.
you know what, I was gonna say the same thing, I think the drive-through would be much better.
I mean,
I didn't
while I
mind the
like-
fire on
while
the
I-
beach with the s'mores. I didn't mind it.
Yeah,
I
but
like the s'more fire, but yeah, if people wanna drive through, that's fine.
And we only had a handful of people partaking in the s'more thing.
yeah.
And we don't even know where, I mean, with this new variant going around, we don't know what's gonna be happening in a couple months. I
But
think
no, the drive-through's
Planning
fine.
for the drive-through again, it worked well, everybody loved it.
Yeah.
I'd say let's.
It was a pandemic safe option.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it was smooth.
It was, yeah, it was
Yeah.
easier.
But I would say I would at least put in the order to 150 of them, so at least it's on their thing.
All right,
So
I've
I
got
It's
would-
it.
on my list.
Okay, I've got it in future business, so we'll ask you about it.
And we
Oh, wait
should
a minute, hang
also
on.
post on our Facebook page that if families have the pumpkins, that
We would like them back.
we'd like them back.
Well, and I had talked to Matt at the
Yeah, yeah. I don't
transfer
think
station,
we
and he
never-
was, no, he said he had a tote. If
Yeah.
people showed up with them, he would hold on to them. I know Matt's not there
Yeah, I
anymore.
don't,
Oh, he's not?
no,
No,
he left.
He's-
Matt retired.
Yeah, no, he didn't,
He's highway now.
yeah.
Oh, he
he's
moved
Jamie
across
Oz-
the driveway.
Jamie Osgood is Matt now.
Okay.
So,
I would say,
The plastic, just like the plastic
Oh, that you
pumpkins,
put the
like
candy in?
the
yes,
trick or treat.
we'll reuse them if people
Yeah.
don't
Right.
wanna throw them
So
away.
what would happen is we would hide the pumpkins at like the town hall and the school
real
and whatever.
pumpkins.
The actual,
And
yeah,
then
little
when they
sugar
would come
pumpkins.
to bring their tag, they would get a little pumpkin, a plastic pumpkin filled with
Yeah,
goodie
cause they're like a
bag.
buck.
And they
And-
get to take their pumpkin.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
they
they
get,
keep
and they
the
get a
pumpkin.
full-size candy bar and a little goodie bag in the pumpkin,
Oh, okay.
so.
It's
In-
so much
yeah.
fun.
It's a lot of fun.
okay, so,
And then the
We
senior
We did-
baskets,
we
we'll do
will
that
have to be
again, I
careful
think, at
not to
Christmas.
put them at Bolton if there's a football game,
Yeah.
because a lot of out-of-towners.
We try to do it, what do we normally do it, the Sunday or Saturday before Halloween? I can't remember, one of them is more of a sports day, which,
Saturday is more of a sports day because of soccer.
we
so we
talked
do
about
it
doing
on
Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah.
And we do it early in the day, like, we put the pumpkins out, let's say, like, by
6 in the
9:30, well, by 9:30, and then we're at the lake at 10 AM.
Yeah.
Because we used to do it where the pumpkins were out like 8 to 11, and then they came back at 5. Well, half the people didn't come back.
Yeah.
Because between 11 and 5, the whole world happened. So
Right.
basically, we have the pumpkin hunting start when we're at the lake to accept pumpkins, so they can find their
Okay.
pumpkin
Okay.
and go right to the
I-
lake.
I have to interrupt everybody. Rick just messaged me back and said, I seeded the field one time, and that was just a couple spots a few years ago. Am I expected to seed the fields? I thought that that was the expectation.
Every year, it should be in the condition
Yeah.
that he got it in.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I'm not there inspecting it,
I
but
believe that was part of the discussion we had in March at the field usage, that it was going to be, he was going to reseed and replace sod if needed, or turf or whatever.
February,
he was
March
supposed to,
16th.
they were supposed to reseed where they needed to, so that it was in the same condition, so the football would have it and not have to worry about holes in their thing.
What do I have? What do I have? What do I have? I definitely have their field usage. I don't remember if I have anything written down for specific, but because that field has so much work on it done, it's just a matter of it needs to
Can you see
be
my messages, Pam?
in the same,
I do.
Okay.
needs to be in the same condition when they're done using it as it was when they started
That's
using
what
it.
that was my understanding.
Yep,
Yep, so he needs to reseed it, or seed it wherever, where the goal, basically, I would say, please seed it where the goals
Well,
were.
yeah, I already did. I mean, the
Just the worn
expectation was that it
places.
was just the worn places,
Right.
not,
yeah, and
not
it's,
the whole field.
but yeah, it is it's every season, because it's used, every season that it's used.
Yep. And that's what I said. I just said, ready for the next season. I didn't say ready for football, just ready for the next season.
can we go back to the pumpkins? So I can
Yes.
make I would like to make a motion, seeing how 150 pumpkins, if they go to $1.50 a piece, just to give us a little bit of leeway, is $225. So I'd like to allocate $225, up to $225 for pumpkins. Or do you want to say $250 for pumpkins? So you have,
I wrote 225.
I'll second.
Can I
Are we
make a
doing
suggestion
Two
only on
twenty-five or
that?
250?
Specify what line you're gonna be taking that out of.
That is definitely an
It's-
activity.
Yeah,
Is it 225 or 250?
225.
All in favor?
well, it's coming out of line 631, right?
Seconded?
Yes, it did.
Lisa seconded it.
What was the line number, Dave?
631,
Thank you.
Aye.
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 Lisa? Oh, you seconded it. John?
There's enough for this, I don't vote.
Okay. So, the ayes have it.
All right, well, we're on the topic. Do we want to just finish that one up and say that we're gonna go do our shopping in
You have to
September?
You have to allocate money for candy and
What did we
then,
do, what did we
pumpkin
allocate
patch.
last year?
I think it was $1,000, I don't remember. Let's see, that would be, what did we do it in September?
$500? $300? I don't remember what we put.
I thought it was up to 5, but we didn't use it all.
We didn't use it all.
October 2020, we must have done it before that, must have been September. Right here, we spent $150 on the actual pumpkins. We put $150 on, $100 on tags, $100 on labels, $100 on goodie bags, trunk
Hold on a
candy, and goodie
second.
candy.
$100
I'm not, hold on, I'm looking for the final, if I have a final number drawn. It looks
Here,
like we
here,
had
yeah.
1,000.
150 for pumpkins, $200 for tags and bags, $500 for candy. Then I have another line for $300 for
Well,
candy.
so I had $150 for the pumpkins,
Yep.
$100 for 150 tags, the paper and the ink, then $100 for the labels, because we labeled all the pumpkins. Then I had $100 for the goodie bags, which we in turn did hard pumpkins.
Yeah, which I ended up just paying for those, cause I bought them the season before.
We did the $500 for trunk candy, because at that point we thought we were doing trunk or treat, and then $500 for goodie candy. So it's
We-
1,450 was what we approved.
We didn't spend that much.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, and I would forego trunk or treat. So if that happens, and I think last year they ended up doing it down at the.
They didn't do-
They did it down at Center Wood, they did it down
Nope.
at Center Woods.
They didn't do anything,
And then
did
they
they?
ended up not doing anything,
Right.
but I would just say we forego. If they do trunk or treat, we just,
We just gave the fire department our extra candy.
Yep,
yeah.
I think we should
and they
just,
did their drive-through thing.
yeah, I think we should just do $1,000.
Yeah, but I say we
total.
don't do, if they're gonna do it, we just bow out of it and say we're not doing it.
We did.
We did them, we
We-
printed
yeah, we didn't
it,
spend that
we
much
didn't
money.
spend that
I
much,
was
but it
gonna
was
say,
just,
'cause
it was
I
the
got-
paper and the
I
ink.
can do 'em. I have a Cricut machine.
She did the card stock with different colors for each location, so when they return it, and if, I
We
mean,
knew.
if you, yeah, so we knew the reds were
Yeah.
from this place. If
If you
you,
need any help, because I have a Cricut machine, I can cut
Thank
them
you.
out and like,
That would be wonderful.
yeah, we'll take help.
Yep.
put
Are you home in October? When do you leave?
I should be back by then.
Okay.
We
It's
should
fun.
be back around the 18th.
That,
Okay.
that is really a lot of fun.
You'll love the pumpkin.
Yeah.
It is fun, because we stuff
Yeah,
the
so I can
bags
help
and
with
everything.
bags.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. But we should probably just do 1,000 total, so we can have all our bases covered. We
Yep.
don't spend,
And we didn't spend that much, it just covers us.
all right.
So we're gonna do 1,000 for, on line 631.
So are we making a motion to allocate
Somebody's going
An
to-
additional 1,000?
Yep.
Or
In addition to the 225?
in addition to the
for
225, or are
pumpkins?
we doing $775 for,
We're going, we already did the 225 for
So
pumpkins.
this is
Now we'll
separate.
do a separate thing for 1,000 to cover the rest of the event.
All right, so who's making that motion?
I'll make the motion to, approve up to $1,000 to be spent on the, candy and other things for the pumpkin hunt.
Right, the totes, the
extravaganza
tags.
Total.
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I
Aye.
aye.
Okay.
So, also then we have a night we get together to go shopping.
Yes. We go to Sam's.
We go to
Where?
Sam's Club. And then
And we can't do that.
And
Now,
then
are
we
we
go out to
doing-
dinner, but we have to pay for our own dinner.
We didn't go out to dinner last year, we only went to Sam's.
Well, we went out to dinner year before. Didn't
The
you
year
and I go?
before you might have, I wasn't there.
There were no restaurants open last year.
Last
No,
year.
last
Well,
year we
there were a
couldn't.
few, but I was,
Now, the gazebo tree,
anti-restaurant.
the gazebo tree, are we getting that tree donated, or is that
We'll
going to
talk
be?
about that later. We can't deal with that till September.
I might have one to donate.
Christmas tree in September.
Okay.
Christmas in
So,
September.
if Halloween is on the last Sunday of the month,
Oh, yes.
do we wanna try and do, we said Sunday's better, so would we try to do the 24th?
Why can't we do it Halloween?
You'll get, well, we've never
People are
done it on
busy.
Halloween before, and I think it's just ends up being a busy day, because, I mean, if you have, I don't know.
People are very busy on Halloween with other
In
stuff.
the afternoon and evening, but
Oh,
not in the
no.
morning.
Well, they start trick or treating at like 4 o'clock, don't they?
Yeah, but
5
if we're
o'clock?
doing this in the morning,
Is it on the thing?
I'm up for, are you still in town on Halloween?
I
Is
don't
that
know.
on the Saturday?
It's a
Okay.
Sun,
What do you
it's
think,
a
Dave?
Sunday,
That's, oh, it's
which we said
oh.
Sundays are better
Yeah.
than Saturdays. I mean, I don't know, what are your thoughts?
Discussion,
Sure, why not?
Everybody can think about it, it's not like we have to make the decision tonight, right?
We could tentatively do it. We gotta check out the, oh, I actually had booked the town hall sign.
on the 18th.
On the 18th, I was gonna book the sign to do
Yep.
it, okay.
But we need to book it now, we need to book it now. We
Right,
need
I have to
reserve it
tell
now.
Karen now that on October 18th,
We
I
want
wanna
the
use the
sign.
sign. They just installed the sign, right?
But
It's beautiful.
how long do we get it for? Because
week
the
or two?
18th
I think 2 weeks.
Well, we need to find out what,
You can choose how long you want it. You can give her your dates. Like,
Okay.
she's really flexible about that.
I don't know, I always like the weekend before, but that's me.
I don't have little kids, so for me, prepping for Halloween is like at 3 o'clock they get dressed and we drive to Nashua, so, you know, it's different. So, I don't know. I mean, it's positives or negatives. What do you
I say
guys
just do
think?
it on Halloween.
Do
Yeah?
the kids
Why
come
not?
in their costumes?
Yeah,
Some
it's
do.
so
Then you
cute.
might as well wrap it all up in one day, 'cause
Right?
once you
Yeah.
deal with the costumes, you don't wanna deal with it too, at least I never do.
Yeah, but if we're doing it in the morning though, so they're not gonna have
Sometimes
their,
they do. Sometimes they do.
yeah, but if are they gonna stay in their costumes all day to do trick or
Maybe.
treats that Sunday
It's up to
night?
them. Sometimes
They
they
don't
wear
always
'em.
come, I mean, a couple of them come in costume, I wouldn't say all of them. Because last year we did a drive-through and none of them even got out of the car.
It was kinda chilly that morning too, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It was.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
So, did we do 1 hour or 2 hours last time? I think we did 2 hours,
10 to 12.
10 to 12.
I think I think I still got a tag in my car.
October 31st.
Yeah.
10 a.m. to 12 p.m. So we want to have all the pumpkins hid by 9:30.
If not earlier,
Yeah, earlier.
No, at the latest.
at the latest.
Well, basically, you hide your
I
pumpkins.
had people on Facebook that morning. I saw someone drive away the pumpkin at 8:30 in the morning. I'm like,
Shut up.
what do you want me to do? We put the pumpkins out as late as we
Oh,
possibly could. It's not
we
like we
did
put the
the best
pumpkins
we
out the night
could.
before, you know?
We did the best we could.
Well, maybe we
People
pick
just need to-
pick a different spot. I didn't want to get all the way off of this tangent, but we pick different spots. So we
did
don't
fine.
do,
People,
we find
Loved
out
it.
who's gonna have events and like if Bolton's got something going on.
Yeah, that was definitely interesting. There was a football game, so everybody came to Bolton
And
on the
that's-
playground. They took all the pumpkins, and I think we got 2 turned in.
yeah,
And you
Well,
just don't know if it's
we just
people from
won't do it.
town or out of town.
yeah.
And Bolton, I think, is the only one that really had an activity at that time.
Yeah,
Because
that
we
was
did them
the
at
one
the
we
other
had trouble
fields.
with.
You did them at Inison, and you did them at
Yep.
Purington,
Are
and
you gonna do this rain or shine or have a rain day?
Oh, yeah.
rain or shine, 'cause they got the pavilion.
Oh, we can also just put a
And
pop-up. in
2
the
or 3
parking
years
lot.
ago, we did do it in the rain, and we still had 100 pumpkins picked up. New England, gosh, if we let the rain stop us, right?
Or
Look at
snow.
this, look at this
Or
summer,
snow.
or snow, yeah,
Or snow.
right?
We had 3 feet of snow 2 years ago.
On Halloween, that's right, power was out.
Do we have anything else for
We just
Halloween?
have for Halloween, no, I don't think so. We'll get together when it's closer for shopping. And then we'll talk about senior baskets. I think we still all wanna do that in the winter.
Yeah,
That was
that's
really
awesome.
fun, cause the seniors normally, they do a luncheon a couple times a year, and they haven't done it last year or this year. So that senior fund line,
We
we,
did that for Christmas.
Christmas, we
We
delivered
did.
them on Christmas Eve.
And
Which
they
was
loved
kinda
it.
really neat. Everybody
was
was
fun.
home except for I think the one house.
Yeah, there was one particular gentleman that, yeah, I think he was still
Not feeling
in the
well.
hospital
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah. But I think everybody else, all their people were home.
Everybody loved it.
It was so-
All the people
Every-
I saw loved it.
It was
And you
so
got
fun.
she got a bunch of thank you notes?
And
Yeah.
there were, however, a couple of people who didn't know what we were doing, and I don't know if they just forgot.
Right.
We,
We came across
We-
people waiting for us at their door.
yeah,
I didn't know that.
I would like to propose as, not that we're, like, we should work with a vendor to get sweatshirts or t-shirts
So
or
we
something
advertise who
that-
we are.
Right, that say, you know, have our logo and whatever and can put our name on it, like that we
So that
buy
we can wear
ourselves,
them.
right.
So that we, yeah, that we
Right,
can
so
wear.
that
Oh, we can pay for them. Yeah, I don't
Right.
mind buying a shirt or a sweater or something.
I would like to have a park.
You want to be official?
wanna be
When I
official.
joined, Karen
you
told
wanna
me,
work on the design?
Karen told me I was gonna get a sign, I was gonna get a shirt and it was gonna say sucker, because I was the newest joiner. It was fun. So I agree. I would be willing to buy a shirt or a sweatshirt that says who we are. We could feel, especially like when you go down to the lake to
Yeah.
check things out
Yep.
and stuff like that, it's kinda nice to have something.
Like when, you know, we were walking around telling people you can't do that.
Mm.
I like being incognito at the
Well,
lake.
Yeah,
Well, you can
But-
take it off. Maybe a zipper sweatshirt that you can put on when needed. I like that idea, Pam.
Okay.
That would be
Especially
great.
for delivering stuff, yeah.
Well, I can think of a few. I mean, if you were in the gazebo and we're putting up Christmas lights, it'd be nice
Or
to
the
have
pumpkin
something
thing,
on
they
there.
know who we are.
Standing at the
Right.
lake, yeah.
like a uniform, you know, the Chase Park staff gets a t-shirt that says staff on it,
Right.
you know, I'd like to have a park sweatshirt.
Just a t-shirt and a sweatshirt.
Yeah.
That would be nice. I like that idea.
Right.
Okay, unless anybody else has anything to talk about. The only thing I added into future business is in Purington in the springtime, we always have to talk about the, water damage to the dugout area. So that's something that, Stockhouse has been able to take care of most of the time. So I just wanted to kind of put it in there to kind of remind us to be ready for that in the spring. All right. Everybody all set?
Adjourn at 9:10?
Yes. Oh, all in favor to adjourn?
I lost my Wi-Fi.
Did he turn off his hotspot?